San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Tuesday, everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's great for all of us to be with you, obviously. Thanks again for making our day a part of yours as we get you ready for some Padres baseball again coming up tonight at 6:40. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt at 5:40. Gwen and Chris will be on after us as we plan out the rest of the day here on 97.3 The Fan. Let's obviously talk about last night and where the Padres are at. Obviously, not great of a game. Wasn't a great showing out of JP Sears. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about when it comes to the starting rotation to really get today started. And we're going to dive into a lot of different things. Like Mike, we got an update from Mike Schilt on Michael King. He should be on his way back. He could be back as soon as this weekend against the Boston Red Sox, which is good news. We got some 8 biggest questions leading into the final chase of Major League Baseball. Talk about some more of the deadline deals that will have the biggest impact. Brad Cesmat, the CEO and founder of Sports 360 AZ, will join us in the noon hour. We got ourselves a preseason college football coaches poll that came out yesterday that we didn't have time to get to. And then, of course, we'll talk a little bit more about tonight's game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yu Darvish on the hill against Ryan Nelson. Yu Darvish had a pretty good outing in his last time out, 7 strong. Did a really good job at Petco Park. Hopefully that's something building for the San Diego Padres. Now let's talk about last night. Obviously last night didn't get off to the greatest of starts you would expect out of a guy like JP Sears in his first game in a Padres uniform. Here's a couple of things I got to say about JP Sears. And it's interesting, like Kevin Acee laid out some of this stuff in his daily newsletter today, which adds to, I don't know, a feeling of safety, a feeling of not stressed. I mean, the thing is, you have to understand, like, the Padres are going to win. They weren't going to go 50-0 in their next 50 games, and they're going to lose some games here and there. They just got to start winning series. And overall, despite the Reds picking up a game on the Padres, they still have enough of a cushion, and they didn't lose any ground against the Dodgers, and they didn't lose any ground against the Mets, and they didn't lose any ground against the Cubs. The three teams that they are trying to chase down. Now, here's the thing about JP Sears, okay? I will give JP Sears the benefit of the doubt of a couple of things. One, it being very hot last night. Okay, that's not too much of an excuse because Brandon Pfaadt didn't look that bad with the win yesterday. I mean, he stymied the Padres, and so did the Diamondbacks bullpen. That wasn't very good. So I'll allow that excuse right now. The other thing that I'll allow is he is a brand new pitcher on a brand new team with a brand new catcher also on a brand new team. All right, I understand. Okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that. Now, here's the thing with JP Sears, and this is what it was interesting in today's daily newsletter. Actually, I'm going to get to something else first. The last thing on JP Sears. He was not brought in to be an ace. He was not brought in to be a 2. He was not brought in to be a 3. I mean, he is a 4th or 5th starter that is at the back end of the rotation that is expected to put yourself into an opportunity to win, which he failed to do last night. I mean, last night was not good. He was not good last night at all. He struggled for most of the time. His sweeper didn't look very good. It was over the heart of the plate. I mean, Arizona did not have any issues with JP Sears, who consistently pitched in high leverage situations, inning in and inning out last night against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, the Diamondbacks scored in every inning of the first 4 innings of the game. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. You can't win like that, because all of a sudden it starts affecting your offense, because now your offense is sitting there every time they come up to the plate going, I gotta try to tie this game with one swing of the bat. And they start getting out of what makes their offense good. I mean, last night, pretty straightforward. You needed a better outing out of JP Sears. You didn't get it. And so what the Padres did the rest of the way, didn't use any of their big horsemen, their 4 horsemen, their filthy 5, whatever you want to coin the phrase of. And so they went with like Matsui, they went with Wandy Peralta to try to finish out the game. Now, here's the deal. Not every team in Major League Baseball is trying to win every single game. We've seen the Dodgers punt on games a ton. And so last night, you see Peralta and Matsui in the game. Save the bullpen for the next couple of days, because you're going to need them the next couple of days. Because you got to try to get 2 more. You got to try to get 2 wins here in the next 2 days against Arizona. So, punting on the game. Now, people can be upset about that all they want. I'm not really opposed. Okay, I understand a lot of these teams operate with the fact that they know they're not going to win 162. They're not going to win 162 games. A lot of the time they're going to end up punting. All right, so with that all being said, here's how the rotation kind of lays out. You currently have 6 starters in your rotation. You have 6 starters on the roster. You have Darvish, who's going to pitch tonight. You have Nick Pivetta. You have Dylan Cease. You have JP Sears. You have Nestor Cortez. And you got Michael King coming shortly behind. You don't really need 6 men in a rotation. And it's an interesting topic of discussion later on in the show that we might get into. There's a couple of stretches. There's a 13-game stretch in a row here in August coming up that you could use a 6-man rotation. And there's a 10-game stretch in a row that you can use a 6-man rotation coming up in September if you decided to do that. But here's what the Padres did at the deadline. Yes, they gave up Kolek and they gave up Bergert for Freddie Fermin. In doing so, they got a replacement, or should I say some depth and some options, when they last second traded for Nestor Cortez. They had JP Sears in the Mason Miller deal. It gives them options just in case anything goes wrong with Michael King. It also gives them options for the rest of the year. But here's the option that makes the most sense. Look, you're already giving Randy Vasquez a break. I mean, he has already pitched more innings than he has had in his career. So he's getting a little bit of a break right now in AAA. But what was laid out in Kevin Acey's newsletter, which I find interesting, is the battle between JP Sears and Nestor Cortez for the number 5 spot over the next handful of weeks. Again, JP Sears and Nestor Cortez are not on the team to make a playoff start. They're not. The Padres don't need them to make a playoff start. The Padres only need really 4 starters in the rotation when it comes to playoff time. So I would be shocked if JP Sears starts a playoff game. He does need to do better than last night. We'll see what Nestor Cortez has in a couple of days, because Darvish is pitching today, and it sounds like Nestor Cortez is going to pitch on Wednesday. Nestor Cortez versus JP Sears will be the battle for a couple of starts, and it sounds like, according to Kevin Acey, the Padres are going to give both of them a couple of starts to see who can be the number 5 starter for the rest of the season. Now, they could still do the same thing with options. JP Sears has options. So even though he's under control for a decent amount of time, they could send him down to El Paso at any point in time. So the plan is to give JP Sears some starts, see how he does, see if Nestor Cortez could be better, and then you have the ability to pull up Randy Vasquez at any point in time and send JP Sears down. They can do it. It's not like the whole, and people were upset about the Yuki Matsui situation where he can deny being sent down to the minor leagues. JP Sears has options. They can use said options. So that's kind of where you're at when it comes to the rotation. You're not asking JP Sears to shove. You're not asking him to be your ace. You're not asking him to be a 1, 2, or a 3. You're asking him to pitch a lot better than he did last night but give the team an opportunity to win. If he limited the damage to just 3 runs, that's honestly giving the offense an opportunity to win. What did him in was the 4th inning, adding 2 more runs for the Arizona Diamondbacks that ended up being 5 earned runs for JP Sears in 5 innings, giving up 10 hits. I mean, he just had nothing. But what you couldn't do last night is panic on the first game of a series and decide to start throwing bullpen arms in there and deplete your bullpen for the rest of the series. He had to go out there and eat the rest of the game, or at least as long as he could. He ended up throwing 94 pitches, 66 for strikes. Again, not great. Unfortunately, for people in the chat, like Prolific saying he hates losing to weak teams. I do too. But I'm going to tell you right now, in baseball, you lose the weak teams all the time. You lose the weak teams all the time. I mean, look around Major League Baseball. There's a lot of teams losing the weak teams. That's the sport of baseball in general. So overall, I didn't like what JP Sears had to offer the Padres last night. I was probably a little bit more harsh about JP Sears last night, watching the game, saying stuff underneath my breath. But after 24 hours, not even 24 hours, sleeping on it, you got to understand the big picture. He's got to get a couple more opportunities to go out there and see if he could be the number 5 starter for the Padres. You got Nestor Cortez, who's going to go out there and see if he can be the number 5 starter for the Padres. If they both fail, you still have Randy Vasquez. All right, so they have pieces in place to finish the season. Again, Cortez, Sears, they're there to finish the season. They're not there to start a playoff game for you. You only need 4 starters for the playoffs. And as of right now, you have King, who's expected to come back potentially this weekend. You have Pivetta, you have Cease, and you have Darvish. And in any type of order, any of those guys pitching on the 4th game is going to be a pretty good option for you. And any of them pitching on the first day, also going to be a pretty good option for you. That's how I see a little bit last night. When we come back, we'll talk more about the game. We'll get Frank's thoughts of last night's game as we continue and get things started on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:17 on a Tuesday morning. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, talking about last night's game. Obviously, pretty cut and dry. Starter didn't really give you the innings you needed. Didn't really give you the start you needed. Again, he's expected to be a number 5 starter in this rotation. We talked about in the last segment him versus Nestor Cortez Jr. for really the final spot in that rotation to finish out the season. He's not going to start a playoff game. I'd be shocked if he does. If JP Sears and Nestor Cortez are starting playoff games, that means somebody has gotten hurt. So hopefully that's not the case. Michael King is expected to come back relatively soon. We'll have an update on that in just a second. But I know Frank's working right now, working hard. But overall, Frank, what was your takeaway from last night's game?
Rough one, especially to start off your career and make your debut. It was not the best of first impressions that JP Sears made last night. However, what you said was very true about, first game, new catcher, new team, new pitching coach, maybe trying to do a couple of different things from what he's used to doing. So, yeah, you do kind of give him a little bit of a relaxed look after last night. We're going to be doing the same thing, I'm sure, with Nestor Cortez to close out the series on Wednesday. Another thing that really stands out to me, if you look at the box score from last night, Ketel Marte, 2 for 4, Corbin Carroll, 2 for 3, Lourdes Gurriel, 2 for 4, Luis Perdomo, 1 for 4. If you look at the Padres' top 4, Fernando, 1 for 4, Arise, 0 for 3, Machado, 1 for 4, Merrill, 1 for 4. Top of the order got it done last night for Arizona. Padres did not.
Padres only got 6 hits last night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the top of the order for a second. I did see somebody tweeted at me that about, blaming Victor Rodriguez, and does Victor Rodriguez actually prepare batters for opposing pitching, and does he even do his job, basically is what he's saying, because some of the at-bats last night looked, as was tagged in, I was tagged in this tweet, garbage. I have to say, like, the top of the order, as soon as, and here's the deal, it goes in a recurring theme, and it's kind of natural. And here's the deal with offensive mind, like your mindset in the box in general, in a baseball standpoint, the human element to this. When you go out there and you're giving up a run every single inning, all of a sudden you start getting out of what you need to do. You start getting out of your game plan because you try to start answering with bigger swings. You feel like you need to do more. It's more stressful. You're down. You start to press. You start to push, and you don't hit as well. Hitting in general is easier when you don't have pressure. And when you have a lead, that's why some of these scores start getting ramped up and out of hand, because when you're comfortable, it's easier to hit. That's anybody at any level in any sport. That's baseball, softball, even golf. I mean, I bring up to golf all the time because a lot of our audience plays golf. Think about it from the perspective of you have to make the shot. How many times do you guys make that shot? Probably 0. You have to get it done, or you're thinking about it. Man, I really have to pipe this one right down the fairway. Is it ever piped down the fairway? Probably not. In fact, I would say buildings are probably in trouble more times than not. When you're thinking during your golf swing that we have to make this, there's not a lot of people, even some of the best athletes in the world, that could go out there and do it. And so last night, I see this a lot with this offense, especially the top guys, when the team looks like they got no chance defensively, especially in the regular season. They start doing a little bit too much. I mean, Fernando was swinging at pitches he hadn't swung at in weeks. Manny was swinging at pitches he hadn't swung at in weeks. Luis Ariz struck out last night. We never see Luis Ariz strike out. I mean, just striking out in general, Luis Ariz, it's like, all right, not their night. They still got 3 hits out of the top. 3 of the 6 hits came from the top 4 guys in the order. Let me ask you this. I thought this was interesting yesterday. They decided to pinch hit Ryan O'Hearn for Freddie Fermin in the 6th. Would you do that, yes or no?
No.
I wouldn't have done that either. And I'm not saying that because it didn't work. When it was happening, I thought with the situation at hand, and let's just go back to that exact situation. It was back in the 6th inning, and the Padres started to rear back a little bit, right? Merrill popped up, Xander popped up, and then you had a walk, a single, and a single. Jake Cronenworth drove in a run. It's 5-2. It's a 3-run game. And the Diamondbacks bring in Andrew Hoffman. Andrew Hoffman, minor leaguer. Andrew Hoffman hasn't done well in the minor leagues. Andrew Hoffman just showed up from Kansas City. Andrew Hoffman magically turned into Trevor Hoffman last night. But you had Freddie Fermin coming up with Ramon Laureano at third and Jake Cronenworth at first. I know it's the tying run at the plate, but it's the 6th inning. It's the top of the 6th inning. It's not Martin Maldonado coming up anymore. It's not Elias Diaz. I know maybe that felt like a place where you could steal the game or maybe flip things. I thought in that time you let Freddie Fermin hit, and if it's later, then you use a Ryan O'Hearn.
Yeah, and Fermin's had a couple of big hits over the course of that last series. So yeah, that's a spot where you let him hit, and it's a good problem to have. But this is kind of the problem where Gavin Sheets doing as well as he has this year kind of skews things, because normally if you're going to pinch hit for a guy in that spot, it would be for your DH. You'd swap DHs out in that spot.
I would rather do that instead, because then later on in the game, they had Jose Iglesias pinch hit for Gavin Sheets.
And you had Elias Diaz come up as your last hitter.
And now he's coming up. He's got to hit, right? Because it's early enough in the game where now Elias Diaz has to hit, which you don't want to see. I'd rather have Freddie Fermin in the game. Freddie Fermin is not to me, that was a move that you make in the 8th. If that situation happened in like the 7th or the 8th inning,
that's
maybe.
more understandable.
I disagree with Mike Schultz's move. I understand the move. I'm going to be honest with you. I understand it. I just disagree with it. And I'm not saying he's wrong. There's multiple ways. You know what? You hadn't had, I'll justify the move for a second. You've been struggling the whole game. You've been trailing the whole game. Your starting pitcher, who had already now been taken out of the game, didn't give you an opportunity to win. And you come up, you got an opportunity. You have a situation where the tying run is at the plate. And if Ryan O'Hearn hits a home run, I mean, Mike Schultz is a genius, right? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it works. I would have said that today anyway. If O'Hearn would have hit a bomb last night to tie the game up, I would have said, I wouldn't have done that. But you know what? It worked out. I've said that a couple of times this year.
He doesn't even need to do that. Just drive Laureano in. Just get a base hit, drive Laureano in, keep the line moving, put the pressure on the new pitcher. That's all he really had to do in that spot. Of course, the home run is nice, but all you need is a single in that spot to keep the line moving and keep the pressure building.
If that was Martin Maldonado or Diaz, I would have understood it a little bit more. Freddie Fermin's done a good job so far. He's a good hitter, high average guy. In that particular situation, I would have let Fermin hit for himself.
Yeah,
over
100%.
Ryan O'Hearn.
And especially with what I was saying before about it being a good problem to have Sheets doing so well, is because you want that bat in the lineup. You don't want to take Gavin Sheets out. So it is hard to make those decisions, but you also have Ryan O'Hearn, who's hitting 30 points higher than Gavin Sheets is. So you need that bat in the lineup also. And you're trying to figure out how to move these pieces around and get all the guys there at bats and get them in the best position they can possibly be in to make the biggest impact that they can possibly make. So yeah, it's a very good problem to have. However, it is, at the end of the day, a problem.
The other thing too is the top of the 7th I thought was terrible at bats.
Yeah, not great.
They let Andrew Hoffman look like Trevor Hoffman in the top of the 7th inning. I mean, they showed his numbers. Like, he spent most of his time in the minor leagues. Hasn't really done really well. Against the 1-2-3 in the Padres order, punch out, fly out, punch out. And the 2 strikeouts. I mean, Fernando looked confused at the plate. I mean, now, I will say this. I'm a fair guy. I give people the benefit of the doubt. He got an early strike in that at bat that was low and outside, that was way off the plate, that they got called a strike. And then on the last pitch that he swung at, he had to swing at it because the umpire was giving him that last pitch. And that was a terrible kind of check swing. I hate when Luis Arias puts the ball in the air. I've said that all year. It's never going to go out, and it's just going to be a routine fly ball. And then Manny's at bat wasn't very good. And so you had it again, down 3 runs which for this offense should be very obtainable. And then Yuki Matsui gives up a home run in the 8th. And at that point, it just seems like, all right, let's get him tomorrow.
You allowed Andrew Hoffman an inning and a third, facing Ryan O'Hearn, a pinch hitter, and the top 3 in your order, 12 pitches.
Yeah.
That's all you saw was 12 pitches of a kid who just came up. That's not good.
That's not good.
You need to work those at-bats, especially with that part of the order. You need to work those at-bats.
So you can say what you want about JP Sears. He wasn't very good. You could say what, about the rest of the game. I thought the at-bats were okay to a certain spot, and then all of a sudden, once the lead got to a certain level, it was too much. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We did get some good news, though, from Mike Schilt yesterday. What is it? We'll tell you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 10:34 on a Tuesday. Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. He's Frank Marchese. Always hard at work over there. I got to pull him from the work so I can hear his opinion on things. Mike Swing.
Well, you know.
They make you do too much stuff over there.
Well, sometimes it's not enough. There are other days where, I'm drowning over here, but we get
like
it done.
the trade deadline?
Yes.
Trade deadline was like that for sure.
Trade deadline, NASCAR news. Yeah. There are days where it's less fun than others.
The difference was the NASCAR news day. Frank was a pig in mud.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
100%.
The smile on his face was ear to ear the entire time on the NASCAR news. Right up his alley.
Like I said, it was the longest and shortest show ever. Felt like I had no time to do anything. However, it wouldn't end.
Just would never end. I'm enjoying my new Whataburger cup.
Attaboy.
That the fan brought in yesterday. Big shout out again. Thanks. A little exchange for the t-shirt. Drinking the coffee out of that today. All right. So we talked about yesterday's game. Went into more detail in the last segment. We got an update on Michael King from Mike Schilt yesterday, pregame yesterday. Here's what Mike Schilt had to say about Michael King.
Takeaway is very positive. Feels good today. I don't know if he's played catch or he's going to play catch today, but he got through 61 pitches yesterday and felt good and was really excited. And it's back to doing what he loves and competing. It's been a period of time, so there's a really good chance. Not going to put it in pen yet, but we'll put it in dark pencil that he's got a good chance to his next start to be for a Padres big league club.
Do you anticipate it being on turn now, like in 5-6 days from now?
Yeah, I think we're still evaluating that, so it's about as far as I can take you right now.
There's a couple things that Mike Schilt says that just makes me roll my eyes. We're not going to put it in pen, but maybe some dark pencil. Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Really dig that pencil in.
Yeah, exactly. What did he say? He had a couple of good ones in the press conference on Friday, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, but it's usually a big. Everybody
added to the stable. He had a couple of good ones on Friday.
They asked about the 4 horsemen, and I think he said we added another one to the stable. I'm like, come on, man. He sits back and just giggles at it.
Oh, of course.
I mean, he has some fun with that for sure. He's not as bad as Scott Boras, though. I will say that. He's not as bad as Scott Boras. Scott Boras, at any type of Major League Baseball event where he's speaking, he practiced his one-liners in the mirror the day before. And he didn't come up with it himself.
No.
He definitely has a crew that writes it for him, and then he sits there and hot talent lava. Moves on to the next one. I mean, his isms are absurd. Absolutely absurd.
He draws the foul.
That's a foul on Boras.
It's just a foul for Boras speaking.
It's true.
Period.
That's true. Well, you know what? With the lockout looming, you're going to hear a lot more of Scott Boras, unfortunately.
Please don't threaten me, especially on the radio. Please don't threaten me.
All right. Michael King coming back. Big news. Do you think he's back this weekend?
I think he is, because Sunday started on Sunday. His next turn, if it goes that way, his next turn would probably be Friday night against Boston. That would be the 5 days. So if he's going every 5th day, it's probably going to be either Friday or Saturday night.
I would think so too. I think if Mike Schultz using his isms, writing it in dark pencil, he's probably pitching Friday night. If it's not Friday night, it's Saturday night. I think Michael King is back this weekend. Kevin Acee kind of alluded to that in his daily newsletter. Michael King is coming back. Now, here's the question. It gets to what is the roster move to bring Michael King back? JP Sears has options, but it sounds like they're going to give JP Sears extra starts to see if he could be the number 5 starter.
As they should.
I can't imagine Nestor Cortez being a 1-start and done, especially having not pitched since, April or May, and only having 2 starts this year for Milwaukee. I can't imagine it's a 1 or done audition for Nestor Cortez. So
It leaves the one unfortunate name who really does not deserve to get sent down.
It's probably going to be David Morgan
Yep.
unless somebody goes on the injured list. Little phantom IL, if you will. Which leads up to, are you going to do a 6-man rotation or are you going to move one of those guys to the bullpen? I mean, there's a lot of different moving parts for the San Diego Padres when it comes to this Michael King move. And we're going to talk about Michael King a little bit more here in a second. But as I pull up the Padres schedule, you look at where they're at right now and the idea of a 6-man rotation. Like, it doesn't really play well until the Dodgers series, where it starts the long stretch of 13 games in 13 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a day off Thursday, and you have another day off the following Thursday on the 14th, as you have the Red Sox for 3, and then you go to San Francisco for 3 before going to L.A. There was a little bit of nuance or a little bit of talk about Michael King maybe having another rehab start. If he gets another rehab start, then maybe you go with the 6-man rotation when you start the Dodgers series. But there is a good chance that you could have the top of the rotation by the time that you go into LA for what is playing for a division series against the Dodgers. So they have some options. I don't mind a 6-man rotation to give you Darvish an next day of rest, to allow Michael King to get geared up properly, to allow some of these starters that have been there for the last, for the entire season, the Pavettas and the Ceases, getting an extra day off. I don't mind it too much. But the thing is if you go with the 6-man rotation, you are hampering the bullpen a little bit, which I know the bullpen's really strong, but sometimes it's nice to use guys like Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta and not have to use the extra horses in the stable, to quote Mike Schilt. Michael King. Now, there's a lot of people that are worried about Michael King when he comes back. I'm not worried about Michael King coming back because Michael King was not injured. It was a pain tolerance thing. There was nothing that Michael King was going to do that was going to further injure himself. It was about the nerve getting to a place where it no longer sends basically pain signals. Lack of better terms. So from that standpoint, I'm not worried about Michael King. It's just him potentially gearing up a little bit and like it's spring training. That's why the results on Sunday, I don't really care about the results. I care about how he feels and where he's at to build off of what he did on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's, again, especially in the PCL, you're not looking at line scores when you're looking at pitchers rehabbing in El Paso. You're looking at how they feel, pitch shape. You're looking at what they're working on. It's not a, oh my God, he gave up 8 hits and 5 runs over 4 innings. That's not your concern. As far as King coming back, I agree 100% that it's not an injury that he's coming back from. He's coming back from a nerve issue that's only he just needs to get back into the rhythm of things again. He's not trying to, say, find an arm slot that doesn't hurt anymore. He's not trying to fix his mechanics. He's just ramping up to get back to the way he was, and I think he will be just fine.
So you got Darvish tonight, and then you got Cortez on Wednesday.
Yes.
King back Friday. Does that mean Pavetta's on Saturday?
Probably be.
So there'd be King, Pavetta, and then Cease?
That would be my guess because the Padres have messed with their rotation so much over the course of this last month. It's kind of hard to keep track.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, it's hard to guess who's going to fall where.
I think that is. So I think you have a situation where you have King, Pavetta, Cease, which means then you would go into Sears again on the 11th. And then now's the question of, like, do you do 6-man rotation? If you do a 6-man rotation, you'd have Sears on the 11th, you'd have you on the 12th, and you would have Cortez on the 13th against the Giants. And then look who's showing up to Los Angeles. King, Pavetta, and Cease. Not really opposed to that, actually.
No.
I mean, honestly, if you wanted to do the 6-man rotation, I think it plays well for this next stretch of August. Because, again, so you have King, Pavetta, Cease, and the Giants get to face the bottom three of your six-man rotation. The Dodgers face the top three of your six-man rotation, and you do it basically twice. The only difference is that four-game series against San Francisco, you're going to have King on that Thursday, which means you have Pavetta, Cease, and then you would have – they probably wouldn't do Sears. Maybe – but at that point, you could probably bump somebody up because they've already had the extra days off, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that. Now, here's the thing. Not a lot of those pitchers like being thrown off the routine. We have heard Darvish doesn't like getting thrown off his routine too much. But I tell you what, before his last outing, he had an extra day of rest, and he shoved against the Mets.
Yeah. No, he did. So, I mean, it works for if you're going for the rest of the season. No, I don't think a six-man rotation would be beneficial. I think if you put either Sears or Cortez in as a long reliever, get you a couple of innings, especially if you take King out earlier, if you take Darvish out early, you can kind of pair them with somebody. Like you can pair Darvish with Cortez, give Darvish 4, and then allow Cortez to go as long as he wants. You can do that. I think a six-man rotation would be good for this San Francisco, LA back-to-back stretch. And that's it. And then you cut it back down to 5, move someone off to the bullpen.
We didn't talk about this too much. I don't mind this for the postseason. I think it's interesting. And Letters to AJ mentioned it last week with Dylan Cease and JP Sears. Now, you're hoping that Dylan Cease could be what Dylan Cease was, his last outing and the handful of outings that he has had throughout the year where he has been vintage Dylan Cease.
Yankee outing, Dodger outing.
Correct. Here last, what was that against them? Was that over the
Dodger outing? That was.
Well, I remember the Dodger outing, but his last outing
June.
He had against St. Louis. Was it St. Louis or was that against the Mets?
His last outing was against the Cards.
The Cardinals, where he had 5 innings and didn't allow. He had 1 hit, no runs.
Yeah, that was the opening.
9 punch outs.
That was Friday.
That was Friday against the Cardinals. Yeah, those outings. It'd be nice to have him have a couple of those in a row. But the interesting thing that Letters to AJ in his Substack put out on that last week, and I know he usually does one on Tuesdays, so I hadn't seen the new one. But he talked about Dylan Cease, first time, second time, third time through the order, and he talked about JP Sears, first time, second time, third time through the order. Dylan Cease and JP Sears this season have been the same. Now, last night, obviously, did not go JP Sears' way. They tagged him the first time through the order just as much as they did second, third time through. But JP Sears, first time through the order, is where he's at his best. Same as Dylan Cease. Second time, both haven't been very good. Third time, they've been almost like batting practice, it seems like. So the idea is, with the bullpen that you have, you could start a game with Dylan Cease as a right-hander, let him go through the order one time, which, if he is very successful, which we've seen him be, will get you 3 innings.
Yeah.
And then you bring in the lefty and JP Sears. That flips it again.
Yeah, link them.
In terms of matchups. And you let JP Sears go the first time through the order. Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you start with Sears. I'd rather start with Cease. I'd rather start with a guy that's been in the playoffs.
100%.
And then Sears goes through one time through the order. That could be an inning. That could be an inning, and that could be 2 innings, maybe. I mean, if he gets you 3 innings by, going through the first time through the order, that's 6 innings. Now your bullpen with 5 dudes in the back only have to deal with 3 innings.
And it doesn't have to be 9 and out. Like if he goes into the 4th inning, he's getting to 3, 4, 5, and he's starting to get a little bit of trouble again. That's when you can do that. And I agree with you. I'd much rather start Cease, 1, because I think Cease is more valuable starter. But 2, you also see guys prepare for a lefty, put out a different lineup for a lefty. So have them put their righty lineup out and then have them contend with a lefty the next trip or next trip and a half through the order.
The Sears-Cease piggyback situation, I don't mind, especially in the postseason. Sears ain't going to start in the postseason. And here's the deal. And I don't know, people are so against the 6-man rotation. I mean, in Japan, they use it all the time. It's not, to me, it's not that big of a deal. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's okay for rest. Now, these guys are very, routine oriented. Okay, let's not mess up with the routine. Fine. But an extra day off for you, Darvish, in the month of August, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Because I need him to pitch in October. Again, this is all about finishing the season. This team is making the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Just because they lost to the Diamondbacks last night doesn't change anything. And there's all the people in the chat and Padres fans that like to overreact to every single game. We went from buying World Series tickets on Sunday to this team's not making the playoffs because JP Sears got tagged. Come on. They're going to make the playoffs. Their chances for the next 2 months are a lot better than the Cincinnati Reds. Look at the Reds' schedule. Look what they have to get through. But again, JP Sears as a piggyback in the postseason, not opposed to it. I don't know what you do with Nestor Cortez. Maybe you add another bullpen piece, but the thing, by the time you get to the postseason, you're going to be finagling your roster to determine rotations and bullpens, and the Padres have the best bullpen.
We understand you're tired, guys, of the up and down, left and right, but that's baseball.
Just win? I mean, is this your first time watching baseball, dude? They're going to lose. They're probably going to lose another 15 games.
Losses happen. They're
Correct.
I guarantee you, I promise you now, they have 7 games against the Rockies left. They're going to lose 1, maybe 2 of those games.
They might lose 2 of those games. 100%.
They're going to lose. And Brandon Pfaadt has always been a headache for the Padres. Even when he was a rookie, I believe his second start was against the Padres. And he threw it like 8 innings. Brandon Pfaadt has always been a nuisance to this team.
Always.
So you're going to lose games. You're going to have stinkers. I understand everyone wants to just win and you want to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. Baseball is too long and too many crazy things happen on a nightly basis for a team to not accidentally win a game or 2.
Here's what you need to know, right? We talk about, we pull up the playoffstatus.com a lot. The Padres, if they win 26 of their next 49 games, which would be 53% of their games, so they would go 26-23. They have a 94% chance of making the playoffs. If they win 26 the next 49, they go 26-23 and their next 49 games, they have a 94% chance of making the postseason, which means what to some people would just win. Here's what it means. That means they're going to lose 23 more freaking games in the next 49. 23 more losses. They're going to lose more games. It's baseball.
You're going to lose to Baltimore. You're going to lose to Colorado. You're going to lose to the White Sox. It happens.
It happens.
Teams
You're
will
going to lose 60 of the games. Where are they at? Where are we at right now? What's the?
It's 7-4.
No, what are we at in the actual? What's the Padres' actual record?
Padres' actual record at the moment is
62-51.
Yeah, 62-51.
They're guaranteed to lose 9 more games because everybody loses 60. They're guaranteed to lose at least 9 more games, even if they're legit. They go 40-9 in their next 49 games, which would be absurd. They're still going to lose 9 more games.
Look at what happened with the Rockies in Pittsburgh this weekend. Look at what happened with the Yankees and Marlins. Teams are going to accidentally win games.
You're going to lose.
It happens.
Did we not warn everybody at the beginning of the season? Do not watch this team like the NFL. It's going to make you go insane. Seriously. It blows my mind on the whole, playoff. We got to make the playoffs first. I understand that. Okay, they got a 3-game lead. Look, if they don't make the playoffs, I think it'd be a gigantic failure. They're most likely going to be in the playoffs statistically, math-wise. Their percentage chances are high. Just because they dropped a game to the Diamondbacks doesn't mean the sky is falling. I will say this. They get swept by Arizona. Okay, go ahead.
Who are they going to lose those 9 to, Braden?
Who are they going to lose those 9 games to? All the Rockies. They're just going to lose to the Rockies.
Who are their next 9 opponents?
Yeah. They'll probably lose at least one to every one of them.
Yeah, they're going to lose a couple to the Dodgers. They're going to lose a couple to the Giants. They're going to lose a couple to Minnesota. Who else is coming up?
Seattle swept their ass earlier in the season.
Yeah,
you're going to lose one to Seattle.
You're going to lose to Boston. You're going to lose to Seattle. You're probably going to lose one to Minnesota. You're probably going to lose to Cincinnati. You're going to lose to the Mets. You're going to lose to the Brewers. You're going to lose to Baltimore.
You basically got to point. You got to basically point out which series are they sweeping now? The White Sox? That's on the road, though. That's very difficult. They're not going to sweep Colorado in a 4-game series. It's almost impossible to sweep somebody in a 4-game series. You sweep Colorado on the road? Maybe they sweep Baltimore at home.
It's okay.
Maybe.
It is okay to have realistic. It's okay to have high expectations. Those high expectations have to be realistic, though. Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Sushi Sam in the chat. We don't have Bob Melvin. We're fine. Everything's fine. Hey, true. I like what Sean Moreland's saying. They're going to sweep LA, go 6-0 against LA. That sounds great. Hour number 2, when we come back, we got some 8 pressing questions for the Major League Baseball teams to finish the season. Braden Surprenant Show rolls on. 11 a.m. hour on a Tuesday. Braden Surprenant show rolls on. Fun discussion about the Padres game yesterday and a lot about the starting rotation, obviously, with JP Sears kind of having a clunker yesterday. Padres going to lose a lot of games left. I mean, they're going to lose games. That was part of the chat. Be like, tired of hearing about the playoffs. They got to win. They're going to win. They're going to make the playoffs. If they don't, something catastrophically bad happened. But on top of that, they're going to lose games. I said it before. I'll continue to say it again. Can't watch this sport like it's football. You can't watch this sport like it's even basketball or hockey. They play less games. They're more important. In baseball, you're winning series. You're talking about series. They lose the first game of the series, tough S. They win the next 2 games. You take 2 out of 3. You move on. You're playing good baseball. You're playing good baseball. Now, if they get swept this week in Arizona, I'll be right there with you. Like, they got to turn things around. I don't think this is going to happen. I think you're going to see a bounce back today. We'll see how Yu Darvish does. It'd be nice to see Yu Darvish build up on what he did last time. And we'll talk more about that in a second. I do want to get to your phone calls before we dive into these 8 questions that Frank has scoured for about the 8 biggest questions for MLB's 2025 stretch drive, based on an article by Dane Perry on CBSSports.com. We're going to buy or sell some of this in just a little bit. But do you want to get your phone calls? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Steve and Poway, you're on the Braden Surprenant show. Steve, long time no talk, man.
Hey, good morning. Listen, anyway, this is the reason I called. That was probably the worst pitching performance of the whole season last night. But anyway, that's not what I called for.
It wasn't good, Steve. It wasn't good.
Yeah, I've never seen a pitcher throw more balls right over the middle of the plate than he did. But anyway, the reason I called is I don't like the batting order. I don't like the top, and I'm going to tell you why. And just remember, this is my opinion. I don't like Tatis leading off for a couple reasons. Number one, if he doesn't get a hit, he mopes back to the dugout. I think that sets a precedent for the team. I don't like that hanging your head, drooping back to the dugout. I want some spark at the beginning of the order. So I want Rise batting first. And I'd like to have 2 lineups. On the right-handers, I'd like to have Merrill second, Machado third, and Tatis fourth. And then maybe you could do just the opposite with the left-hander where you could put Tatis second. But let me just give you a stat that you probably won't even believe. As of last night, Bogart had a higher batting average than Tatis.
Yeah, he did. He has been for the last 3 or 4 weeks. That's why haven't had a lot of Xander Bogaerts hate from a lot of people in the last handful of weeks anymore. Bogaerts has done a lot better. Tatis obviously talked about the struggle and everything like that. I disagree with your opinion. I understand your opinion. I disagree with it. I think Fernando is way more dynamic when he's on base than anything else. I think he does a lot better on the base paths as a leadoff hitter than Luis Arraez would. But I understand where you're coming from. I get the logic. I just personally would not do that. I just would not. I'd rather have Fernando in the leadoff spot. I don't care how mopey he might get. I don't care how, you're right. It does set the precedent, right? It does set the precedent. But to me, your best lineup has Fernando leading off. I agree that I think Jackson Merrill should be batting second more times than not. I don't like him as a 4-hitter. I know they dabbled in that a little bit, but here's the thing. This is the best part. You got a lot of different ways that you could do the lineup right now with all the guys in your batting order that you got. You got a lot of good. A lot of good in this lineup. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on, man?
Hey, Braden. Best all to you. And, one of the things that people also forget is Arizona, Phoenix Stadium, whatever you want to call it, traditionally has been like a moon crater for the Padres. I mean, they go out to that area and they fall into that crater every single year. And for whatever reason, it's been a heck of a place to play. And I hate to use excuses, but the facts are the facts. They don't do well there. So that's some of it as well. The only problem with last night, everybody had a bad night. It wasn't just the pitcher. The pitcher, obviously, Sears, it raises a little bit of red flag because there was just no command there. And it looked worse than anything we've seen this season. So you're hoping and praying that this is a one-off. And I'm sure that the Padres brass will keep a close eye on this. I think there will be short leashes given where the schedule is at this point. They don't have a lot of time to spring training these guys through. So we'll just have to wait and see and concur. It's about winning series. Let's see what happens next and hope that everybody can just get out of that godforsaken hot box city in one piece and get back to San Diego.
Kevin, I totally agree with you. Did we not say it yesterday, Frank? I'm pretty sure I said it yesterday.
No, you did.
Arizona has been a house of horrors.
It's been a pit to play in.
It's been a house of horrors for the Padres. Historically has been a house of horrors. Now, of recent time, hasn't been as bad, but it has been a house of horrors. Coors Field hasn't been that great either to the Padres, despite their offensive prowess, despite a bunch of hitting for the cycle. But there's certain areas that the Padres struggle in. Arizona's one of them. Arizona is one of them. We'd have to look up like the recent history, and I'll do it during a break. But Arizona has not been a good spot for the Padres. And again, you forget, it's a high-altitude place, too. The ball flies there. So, and they're a thorn in the Padres' side. That's why when you look at all the teams in baseball, it's to work with a gentleman that absolutely hated the Rattlebacks, hated the Diamondbacks, the Rattlebacks, whatever nickname you want to give Arizona, hated them more than the Giants, more than the Dodgers, more than anybody else in Major League Baseball. He absolutely hated the Rattlebacks. From an organizational standpoint, all the BS with Bob Brenly and the, bunting and the no-hitter situation, that guy's still upset about that. The stupid things that Bob Brenly says about the Padres players. I have a lot of I've had people defend Bob Brenly to me. They're big Bob Brenly fans from his playing days. I'm like, I don't really care, dude. The guy says some dumb stuff sometimes. Anyway, I dislike the Rattlebacks. They're on my list of teams I just cannot stand. And obviously, not having got great success there is part of that. I mean, there's been some blow-up games at the Bob, which is no longer what it's called. I mean, remember Robert Suarez's debut in a Padres uniform in Arizona? Oh, man, that was not fun. Not fun to start the season. Season was over before the season started. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We have a couple of minutes. We're going to start this and then continue it in the next segment. 8 biggest questions for Major League Baseball's 2025 stretch drive. Frank Marchese, what do you got for us?
I have a couple of things here. 8 things, as you mentioned.
Oh, there we go. Set the tone, set the mood.
Oh, boy. How much home run history will Cal Raleigh make this season? The Mariners' skilled defensive catcher is also an elite power producer at the plate. Raleigh this season leads the majors with 42 home runs. That homer tally, quite obviously a lofty one for early August, puts Raleigh within range with some very notable single-season benchmarks. He's also sure to set the all-time single-season home run record for catchers, which belongs to Salvador Perez, who hit 48 back in 2021. But of grander aspirations, Raleigh, at the writing of this, is on pace to rack up 60 home runs this year, which puts him 2 behind Aaron Judge's home run record for the American League that he set back in 2022.
Let me ask you this, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to interrupt SEC football on ESPN for Cal Raleigh's home run chase?
No.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not going to do that. I want Cal Raleigh to break Aaron Judge's record because I want to see if they actually do put a Mariners game on in the middle of Alabama, Georgia. I want to see it. I got to see it. I mean, every at-bat for Aaron Judge on ESPN during that season was interrupting college football so we could see if this guy can run down Roger Maris's home run record in the American League. Every single time. I'm rooting for that. Cal Raleigh's at 42. I think he definitely passes Salvador Perez for the most as a catcher in 48 home runs back in 2021, as you mentioned. I don't know if he could. I mean, if he's still on pace for 60, that's great. The thing with a catcher, I mean, they get days off.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they'd have to, I think he has to DH probably a couple of times for Seattle. They're going to be competing. I mean, they're right there in the thick of things that make the playoffs and try to track down the Houston Astros at the top. So I think Cal Raleigh is going to make a run at 60 home runs. I don't know if he's going to get to the 62 mark that Aaron Judge set, but I think it'd be very interesting. If he beats Aaron Judge's 62 home run record, he has to win the American League MVP, does he not?
100%.
He'd have to do it.
100%.
Could you still give it to Aaron Judge if a guy broke Aaron Judge's previous record? No. I don't think you could.
Nope.
I don't think you could. There'll be some writers that do, but I don't think you could. I think Cal Raleigh's going to make it a fun couple of months.
Number 2, will the Colorado Rockies catch the 2024 White Sox? Last season, the White Sox reached the unexampled depths.
Words are harder on a Tuesday, huh?
When they lost 121 games to set the all-time record for such grim matters, breaking the 120 loss record endured by the 1962 Mets.
Foul.
Yeah, it's on the same pod.
I
The foul was
know.
there. Obviously, the Mets mark stood for a long time, but the White Sox freshly minted bit of history is already in peril. That's thanks to the 2025 Rockies. For a while, it seemed this year's Rocks model would blow past their record as they stood at 9-50 as of the close of play on June 1st. Since then, however, they've been merely bad instead of unimaginably awful. That has thrown them off pace right now. The Rockies have a winning percentage of .266, which puts them on pace for a full season record of 44-118. Do they pass them?
Do they have? So they're looking for 100 and how many losses are they looking for?
122 to break
122.
it. So they need to lose. They need to be on pace to go 40-122. They're 4 games above that right now.
I think they could do it. I got to look. I'm going to look up because we got to take a break.
Don't put anything past the Rockies, folks.
I don't know. They stole 2 from the Pirates last weekend. Don't let the Rockies get hot, huh? I'm going to check the Rockies' kind of remaining schedule, and I'll have an answer for you as we continue this coming up after the break. If you want to join the show today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, answering the 8 biggest questions facing Major League Baseball teams as we continue this hunt for October. Can the Rockies, I would say the word beat, out lose? I mean, saying that they beat a record for them is absurd because they don't beat anybody. Except for the Padres, I guess, one time. They did sweep the Padres last year. Hopefully it's not the case this year. We'll answer that question when we come back. More to come. All right, I had to look at I had to look at the standings. I had to look at the standings I had to do some math in my head, all right? I'm not doing math on the air. Don't ever do math on the air. That's just, never do it.
Or if in my case, don't ever talk on the air.
Let's not say that.
English are hard, okay?
English is... Yeah.
English are hard.
Well, now that we can hear the foul.
He draws the foul.
There you go. All right. So the Rockies are 30-82. Correct?
Sure.
Okay. Not your week to watch them?
Nope.
Who you got this week?
You know,
we should assign a team to you every week that you have to pay attention to. We should do that for the football season. Not my week to watch them. Who are you watching?
Uh-oh.
I'm watching the Commanders. Oh, that's rough. Hey, man. Frank's got the Raiders this week and Central Michigan. Just pick names out of a hat, random teams you have to follow that week. Actually, would be hilarious.
I'll get the slips of paper ready.
I got another MAC team. Yes, West Kentucky.
Gotta watch Hawaii this week. Oh,
did I show you the speaking of Western Kentucky? Did I show you my friend's sliding pad he just bought?
No.
He bought a big red sliding pad. Like the one like oven mitt looking thing on your hand? Yeah, he bought one of those for softball. It has Big Red's eyes on it and it's red. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
It is the funniest thing. And I was like, how much you get for it? He's like $80 on eBay. And one of my friends who went to West Kentucky said only the softball team and Ellie De La Cruz have that thing.
I need a picture.
Some softball fan or some softball alum from West Kentucky was like, I don't need it.
For softball in a no sliding league. That's fantastic.
Sam's on that team. Let me see if I can find the photo for you. It is awesome. You should just search it. I bet you can find it online. Big red sliding pad.
We got it.
West Kentucky big red sliding pad. He bought one. And then he sent a picture of him getting cookies out of the oven. He's like, it also works as a oven mitt.
Of course it is, because it's an oven mitt.
It's great.
Is it? I don't know if you can look over and see, but is that it?
That's it.
Oh my God.
That's what he has.
Oh my God, that's it.
He didn't bring it last week. He needs to bring it to softball and just put it on just because it's funny.
Because it's apparently a no sliding league.
I mean, you can slide it.
It's just
kind of, don't be the guy that slides at softball, dude.
Minor
don't
details.
Be
minor details.
That guy. If you slide in co-ed softball, you're definitely that guy. Don't be that guy.
We're getting it. Hold on. We're trying to.
You got to throw it on the screen.
Trying to, yes.
The big red.
Hopefully this
sliding
saves
pad
properly.
Okay, I'm going to let him do that. Anyway, so Colorado's 30-82. They have to go 10-40 to break the White Sox record in their next 50 games. 10-40 in their next 50 games. Hang on. Gabrielle says in the chat, or Gabriel, it bothers me when people use sliding gloves in men's league let alone softball. People use them? What? There it is. There it is. All right, if you show up with that at softball, I think it's fine. I think it's justified.
$85 on the absolutelyridiculous.com.
If there was a website called absolutelyridiculous.com, which apparently there is, that is exactly what I would think they would sell.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
And they got it.
That's hilarious. I love that. That's great. You need a Mr. Met one. The Mets need to have Mr. Met sliding pads. Or Mrs. Met.
Why,
somebody in the chat yesterday was a big fan of Mrs. Met. I think Junior was.
I saw that.
Junior was a creepy level excitement of Mrs. Met.
I mean.
Anyway, back to the Rockies, which nobody wants to hear about. They have to go 10-40 in their next 50 games in order to break the White Sox record. I'm going to tell you who they're playing. You tell me if they break the White Sox record or not, all right? Frank?
Okay.
Somebody said, Alan in the chat, that's Buc-ee's worthy. Could you imagine walking into a Buc-ee's and seeing big red sliding pads available? I'd buy one.
Yes, actually.
I'd buy one immediately. I'd buy 3. I'd buy 3 of those. All right. Rockies got Toronto for 2. They got at Arizona, at St. Louis, home against Arizona for 4, home against the Dodgers for 4, at Pittsburgh, at Houston, home against Chicago. That's just August. In September, Giants, Padres, Dodgers, Padres, Marlins, Angels, Mariners, Giants. They need to find 11 wins in those 50 games to not outdo the White Sox in losses. Do they find 11 wins?
Yes.
Where are they?
In that schedule. They're there.
I think they beat Arizona twice.
Like I said, you're going to accidentally win games.
They beat Arizona twice. I think they probably beat Pittsburgh once. That gives you 3. Did they get the Dodgers one time? No, because the Padres need the Dodgers to lose, so they will naturally just wipe the floor with the Rockies. So I got 3 losses there. Maybe they beat the Astros. I get you to 4 wins. They'll beat the Giants a time. They'll get you to 5. We know they're going to beat the Padres twice because that's just how the Padres go against the Rockies. So that gets you to 7. They'll beat the Marlins twice. That gets you to 9. It's going to come down to a game against the Angels and maybe the Giants to try to overcome the deal. Go Aztecs are getting swept every series. Could you imagine if they lose 50 straight games? That's actually more impressive than winning 50 straight games, I would say.
You have to take a look at the Instagram message that was just sent to us. It was we're tagged in a story. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, is this
not
Callan?
Yes, it is.
What did Callan tag us in?
It's a picture of us on the show.
Nice.
Braden is me yelling from the supporters section at Snapdragon Stadium at the referee for not calling a foul in favor of San Diego FC or the Wave. Frank is me wanting to break my hand after I botch a voiceover project and have to start over again.
That's pretty funny.
That's fantastic.
He draws the foul. Rockies winning 11 games in their next 50?
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. I don't think they do. They are historically bad. All right. What was the next question? We got time for another question.
Right.
To flip it again.
No, we got time for another question here. Will the Blue Jays, pardon me, other way around. Will the Blue Jays fend off the Yankees and Red Sox? Coming in, the 2025 season was a critical one for the Blue Jays, who last year slipped to 88 losses for their first sub-500 campaign since 2019. Another stinker of a season could lead to change in the dugout, in the front office, and on the roster. For a time, it looked as though it was indeed going to come to pass, but the Jays have caught fire in May and have generally kept it up. In particular, an 18-8 mark in July served as a rocket booster for Toronto. In all, they've gone from 8 games out of first place in late May to 3 games ahead in early August. Do they hold on?
I buy it. I think they do hold on. Now, hopefully the Padres can take care of business against the Red Sox for them this weekend. Red Sox have won 6 straight games. They've won 8 out of the last 10. The Red Sox are good. Remember, the Red Sox were everybody's pick to win the American League at the beginning of the season. They're starting to turn things around a little bit. They made a couple of moves at the deadline. I think Toronto definitely outdoes the Yankees. The Yankees are terrible in terms of what they should be with the record that they have. They play like crap in the field. I mean, and they make dumb plays. I mean, the Jazz Chisholm Jr. play the other day at first base. What are you doing? You're in a pennant race.
And then said he wouldn't do anything different.
That's even dumber, dude. That's even a dumber. I mean, that entire deal was dumb. I mean, the Marlins kicked their ass for 3 days. And this game that they have on right now, the game on Friday, was insane. Yankees had multiple opportunities to win that game, and they choked it away. Anthony Volpe can't play shortstop. Jazz Chisholm makes bonehead plays. I mean, the outfield situation, I can't believe that happened. Has it happened yet in this game?
No,
Did we already
not
see it?
yet.
It hasn't even happened yet. Was it Dominguez?
It tied the game in the 9th inning.
Who made that error out
Dominguez
there?
and left.
Jason Dominguez, who everybody wanted on the Padres.
Sorry.
Everybody wanted on the Padres. Guy was the second coming of Major League Baseball player. Now, he did go 3 for 4 in that game, but he runs up on a ball, rolls through his legs like it's men's softball at the Poway Sportsplex. Awful. Their defense was awful last year in the World Series. It's been awful this year. Their base running is boneheaded. They used to be like, take care of the organization that takes care of the little things, plays good, solid baseball. They don't do that. They're not catching the Blue Jays. Red Sox might threaten. We've seen the Blue Jays choke a handful of times, but I think the Blue Jays hold off the Red Sox. We got time for a couple more here.
Number 4.
Number 4.
This one goes for us.
Yes.
Will the fortified Padres catch the Los Angeles Dodgers? We've talked about it a lot yesterday. We've known about all of the, so I'm not going to read the blurb here, but we know about the additions. Dodgers did not make nearly as many impactful acquisitions at the deadline as the Padres did. Can the Padres catch and beat the Dodgers?
Biased answer, yes. Honest answer, also yes. I think they can. I think the Dodgers are limping right now. I think their injuries have caught up to them. I know they're getting players back. I think a little bit of it is the World Series hangover. Their top of the order has not been playing well this season. They haven't been able to put it all together. They have the ability to do so, but they are leaving the door wide open for the Padres, and still, it is August 5th. They're 3 games back. They got to play the Dodgers 6 more times. I think the Padres can absolutely catch the Dodgers. I think the Padres lineup, I think their overall roster is one of the best in baseball. I think it rivals LA, especially with the injuries that the Dodgers have. This, to me, is the best chance the Padres have at winning in the division in the last 15 years, maybe even 20 years. And that was including 2010, where they lost 10 straight games in the month of August and ended up missing out on the playoffs. I think the Padres have what it takes to take down the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm buying it.
If the Padres win the series next weekend, it's almost certainly going to happen, I feel.
Oh,
next weekend series.
I'll buy that.
Next weekend series is the single most important series of the Padres season. Next weekend.
That's a better buy or sell. I'll buy that for sure. If the Padres win, take 2 out of 3 in LA,
the division's over.
I think the Padres win the division.
100%. Will the Brewers upset the Cubbies in the NL Central? Is it fair to call it an upset when a team repeats as division champion? That's a dilemma with which the Brewers are presenting now. For a while, they've seen an annual exodus of core contributors, both on the roster, in the dugout, front office, and the Brewers seem to not miss a step. This has very much been the case in 2025. The current juncture finds Milwaukee with the best record and best run differential in baseball. Second on both count. Wait, okay, that was written stupidly. Do the Brewers beat the Cubs in the Central?
I think the question of is it an upset? First of all, yes. I think it would. If the Brewers win the Central, I think it is an upset because I thought the Cubs at the beginning of the season, despite how bad their bullpen was a legit team that I'd be worried about playing in the playoffs. Now, I'd love to see the Padres put the Cubs in the playoffs because I'd like to go to Chicago. I think it'd be fun to go to Chicago. Chicago's a great town. Wrigley Field, it's a cool little place. Anyway, I think Milwaukee taking over Chicago for the NL Central is 100% an upset. Do I think they hold off the Cubs for 3 games? Yes, because their pitching staff's better. The Brewers' pitching staff is better. The Cubs had an opportunity to go all in for their team. They didn't. They added on the margins. The Padres were one of the only teams in the National League that went all in at the trade deadline. The Cubs needed to bolster their bullpen to a high level. They didn't do that, and I think it's going to cost them the National League Central Division. And look at Milwaukee yet again, despite where everything's at, despite the team they have, despite the roster, despite letting guys go all the time, are right there in the thick of the National League Central year after year after year. And, oh, by the way, they also happen to have magically, and I don't know how this is a thing, not only the best record in the National League, but the best record in all of Major League Baseball. It is dumbfounding to me how the Brewers are the best team in baseball. We saw the Padres go there and beat them up 2 out of 3. I don't know how they do this. I don't know if it's the cheese curds or worshiping beer or whatever they do, crazy stuff in Wisconsin. Maybe it's the haunted hotel that they make everybody stay in with some weird magic. I don't know how they do it, but they do it every year. It just, I don't get it. You know what? I'm apologizing to Milwaukee and the Brewers because every year they don't scare me. Every year they never do anything in the playoffs, which, okay, they don't. But I will tell you this. I don't know why I don't pick them to win the division every single year, because in the regular season, the Brewers seem to pull it off. And maybe it's the hotel. Maybe it's the haunted hotel that they make people stay at. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. But the Brewers somehow have it on everybody else. And I don't understand.
Quick single word answers for these next ones.
We got to go. Let's get the break and we'll finish it.
Oh, all right.
Let's get out of here.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I don't get the Brewers, dude. I don't. Where do the Chiefs play? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll go rapid fire on these rest of these questions and get to our sports thread when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show. 11:41 on a Tuesday. It's funny that song played. That's Trey Turner's walk-up song, which leads us into the last 3 questions of this particular bit that we've done.
Does it now?
It does. 8 biggest questions for MLB's 2025 stretch drive. Went through a bunch of it before. We'll get to our sports thread in just a little bit. But to rapid fire go through these, let's start with number 6.
Millies are up.
Millies. Oh my God, dude.
He draws the foul.
You just want to go home early now.
Yeah, because I'm really trying to do this. Phillies or Mets to win the NL East?
I think the Mets bullpen's better. I'd take the Mets.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm not
very
even
much.
saying that to be your pal there.
Oh, well.
I honestly, the Mets are a game and a half back from Philadelphia. The Mets bullpen is better than Philadelphia's. Philadelphia's starting pitching might be better than New York Mets, but I think the Mets might be able to outlast it. Now, they have to overcome being the Mets, which is a major problem. So from that standpoint, you might be in trouble if the Mets decide to Met. But you know what? I'm going with the bullpen help.
Overcoming being the Mets feels very much like what I'm doing right now, which is I'm trying to overcome being me. AL wild card race right now. Boston.
Who did you pick? The Mets?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
AL wild card race. Boston, Yankees, Seattle in, Texas 2 games out, Cleveland 3 out, KC 3.5, Tampa 4, Angels 5.5. Do those?
Why are the Angels on there?
Do those 3 stay the same? Are those 3 in, or do one of the outsides jump in?
I'd take Boston, I'd take Seattle, and I'd take Texas.
Okay.
I think the Yankees are out. Texas is only 2 games behind Seattle. Seattle with Cal Raleigh going to solidify. Seattle making the playoffs and Cal Raleigh breaking some home run records are going to get is going to get him the MVP. I think the Mariners get the 5 seed. I got Texas getting the 6 seed, beating the Yankees out by a game.
I'm going to say Cleveland is the 3rd one in.
Really? You think they sneak in?
I do. I think they sneak in. I think they've had enough history at doing this, or they may not be the greatest team, but they still do find a way in. I think that Cleveland does find their way in. I think Boston and Seattle are in, and Cleveland becomes the 3rd team.
One stat why I like Texas, least amount of runs allowed all year.
There you go.
404 runs allowed is the least amount in Major League Baseball. They got a plus 69 run differential. I think Texas and their pitching staff get it done. If you want to abide by the run differential game, Cleveland negative 27 in the run differential. You want to change your opinion?
I believe in Cleveland.
All right.
Will
in the land.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
LeBron of you. All right.
Will Pete Crow Armstrong become the next 40-40 player?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
He's got the stolen bases down, I would think.
He's already got 42 this season.
He's on pace right now for 39 home
42.
runs and 42. That's what he's on pace for.
I don't think he gets it. It's happened just 6 times in all of MLB history.
Yes. I think the stolen bases
I think
will be
the
easier
home runs
for
are
him.
going to be the difficult part.
Yes.
I don't think he gets the 40 home runs. He's on pace for 39. How many does he have now? Do we know?
I
bet you he gets like 35.
I knew you were going to ask me a question that I was not ready for.
How are you supposed to know what Pete Crow Armstrong?
Well, I could have been a professional and had his numbers up and ready to go.
We're trying to get you to read first.
That's also true.
Sorry, that was low.
He's got 27 home runs and 29 stolen bases.
I think he gets the stolen bases. I don't think he gets the home runs. I think he gets the 35 home runs. That would be my guess. But he could prove me wrong.
Yeah.
What's going on outside of Major League Baseball, Frank?
Nothing that I'll be able to read, I'll tell you that.
Time for the sports thread.
It's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right.
All right, Frank, what do we got today?
We got more reading, unfortunately.
Number 1.
The men's and women's NCAA basketball tournament will not be expanding beyond 68 teams this season, but future growth still does remain on the radar. NCAA Senior President of Basketball, Dan Gravitt, said in a statement, expanding the tournament field is no longer being contemplated for the 2026 men's and women's basketball championships. However, the committees will continue to conversate about whether to recommend expanding to 72 or 76 teams for 2027. When you saw this news break, you were very, very happy. Does that shine kind of come off, knowing that expansion is still on the table, even though it's not for next year?
I think expansion will be on the table every year until they finally find a deal to get it done. I'm against it. I think the NCAA tournament is perfect the way it is. If they do want, I'm not against, here's the thing. I'm not against expanding the NCAA tournament. I am against expanding it for Power 4 schools that are mediocre to get in the tournament over teams like in the Big West that do very well, that are in a one-bid league, right? If they get more mid-majors in, or if they expand it and you get your regular season champion and your tournament champion NCAA tournament, sounds good. Sign me up. But if it's a way to get a below 500 or a 500 Power 4 team in the NCAA tournament, I'm against it. And that, by the way, is coming from somebody that if they expanded the tournament, my alma mater would have made the NCAA tournament. They had no business being the NCAA tournament. I watched them play all year long. They were a 500 team in the Big 12, and they had no business in the NCAA tournament. Give me less mediocrity in the NCAA tournament. Give me more good mid-major programs, and we might have something there.
If you were going to expand the NCAA tournament, it would have been in 2021 after the 2020 tournament was canceled because of COVID. I don't see any reason to expand the NCAA tournament. I don't see any reason to.
They see it as money in their pocket. But it's also, it's like, let's get the Power 4 schools more money. No, they don't need more money.
So the calendar has switched to August, which that means all of the sports outlets no longer care about any other sport other than the NFL. So here we go.
Or football.
The Cleveland Browns signed quarterback Tyler Huntley on Tuesday, adding depth with multiple passers nursing injuries. Cleveland is holding a quarterback competition among 4 players: Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, who were labeled in their most recent depth chart in that order. However, all but Flacco has recently been sidelined because of injuries. Pickett hasn't practiced fully since injuring his hamstring on July 26th. Gabriel was limited on Monday because of hamstring tightness, and Sanders was held out of the team drills on Saturday because of arm soreness, but did return to full practice yesterday. What in the world is going to happen with this Cleveland quarterback situation? They have 5 on roster now.
You get a quarterback. You get a quarterback. You get a quarterback. Oh, everybody gets a quarterback.
Yeah, it's just, but unfortunately, the you, and everyone is just Cleveland right now.
It will settle itself by the time the season rolls on. You need camp arms, and Huntley's coming in to be a camp arm. There's a reason why there's a term called camp arm, and it's to give guys, it's to be able to have guys run scout teams and do all this other stuff. I mean, I think it's a big non-story. Their starting quarterback situation will be solidified by the time the season starts.
How about Shedeur Sanders being labeled as the number 4 quarterback on the list, on the depth chart?
I mean, I don't really weigh into depth charts too much.
It's almost like they drafted him.
It's almost like they were told to draft him.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like they were forced to, but didn't really want to.
I still think he's probably the best quarterback in that room by the end of the season.
Well,
which is, I mean, not saying that much, but no. I think he ends up starting for them at some point this year.
Also, the healthiest quarterback is also the oldest one as well. That's also interesting.
Number 3.
Nearly 1 year ago to the day since he suffered a torn meniscus in his Minnesota Vikings preseason debut, J.J. McCarthy will return to game action with Coach Kevin O'Connell announcing his new starting quarterback will indeed play in the team's preseason opener on Saturday against Houston. O'Connell did not commit to McCarthy playing either of the Vikings' other 2 games of the preseason. However, he believes that a joint practice against the Patriots on August 13th and 14th could provide all the competition he needs to see from McCarthy. Will J.J. McCarthy be the starting quarterback for the Vikings come week 1?
Yes. Yes, he will. Who else is there? Oh, you know what?
Somebody's there.
You know what? Friend of the show, Brett Rippin. Hey.
What's
Maybe.
I'd love to see those passes.
I'd love to see
Rip 3 the preseason.
Rip get some starts. That'd be great. But no, J.J. McCarthy will be the starter for the Vikings.
Holding him out of preseason games 2 and 3 would be a health concern thing if they do that. Maybe have him play a
McCarthy?
drive. Yeah.
I think it'd be precautionary. I think J.J. McCarthy needs to get a series in every game of the preseason. Yeah. But I think they handle these guys with kid gloves. So
there you go.
Number 4.
We have a story about Teddy Bridgewater a couple weeks ago about his high school. Well, may not have turned out to be the worst thing for him, as veteran quarterback Teddy Bridgewater has signed a contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bridgewater, 32, was in Tampa today to meet with the team and undergo a physical. He last suited up for the Detroit Lions in December of 2024, coming out of retirement to serve as Jared Goff's backup. Bridgewater did not appear in a regular season game. In the playoffs, he completed only pass attempts for 3 yards in a 45-31 loss against the Washington Commanders in the divisional round. For the Bucs, Bridgewater would help shore up a quarterback room with Michael Pratt, who's dealing with a back injury. Starting quarterback Baker Mayfield also just returned to practice after missing the last couple of days with a contusion on his right hand. Any chance that Bridgewater makes the Buccaneers team for the season start?
He's not a bad backup to have.
No,
I think he's got probably a chance. I think he could do it. You know what? It's a better opportunity for him than dealing with the politics of the high school football thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh?
Where he's helping kids out too much.
Probably pays him a little bit more too.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 5.
Last one here. Aaron Judge will be activated for the New York Yankees today when their captain is eligible to come off the IL after being sidelined because of a flexor strain. Can Aaron Judge give the Yankees the boost and the turnaround and the kick in the butt that they need to get this ship righted?
I don't think it's going to be enough.
Correct answer is hopefully not. But
I know what your answer usually is. It's nope. It's not going to be that for the Yankees. No, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think he might give him a boost, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Yankees have a lot of disastrous problems with the fundamentals and just the way that they play baseball. Even if Aaron Judge comes back, he's already carried the team for most of the year.
By the way, if you turn on the MLB Network right now, you'll be able to see the ball roll under Jason Dominguez's glove in left field.
I can't wait to see that again. That was so much fun to watch. When we come back, an update on what's going on in Arizona. Brad Cesmat will join us to start the noon lunchtime hour as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? Get ready for the lunchtime hour, brought to you by Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. The Fan, here every single day from 10 to 2. Obviously, talking a lot of Padres baseball. We'll talk a little bit about some football here in the next hour or so, mixed in with everything you need to know about Padres and Diamondbacks. And for now, that Arizona perspective, we are going to be joined, and we are joined by who, you know, of all the guests that we have, and of all of the people that we have on the air, we have a lot of great people on air that we consider friends of the show. One of my favorite people to talk to in all of sports media, who started his own media company out in Arizona. He's the CEO and founder of Sports 360 AZ. He is a San Diegan, now out in Arizona. He's been on air he was out here for a long time before starting out in Arizona. And again, as I mentioned before, some of the best conversations I ever have on the air is with this gentleman. He joins me now, Brad Cesmat, CEO and founder of Sports 360 Arizona, to preview a little bit more about this Padres Diamondbacks series, the direction of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and maybe get a little bit of the Arizona football scene as well. Brad, what's going on? How's your Tuesday going?
It's dang hot, Braden. Braden, you know how hot it is over here today? It's 116 today. It's 116. Growing up as a young lad in Valley Center and going to Escondido High School and Palomar College, I never experienced 116. In all the years that we did Mighty 690, from day number 1 with all the guys, they've all gone on, they're all doing great things. Never experienced 116. And then me being an idiot one day said, you know, Phoenix is a burgeoning sports market. They had the NBA, they had the NHL at the time. They're going to get the NHL. Talk about baseball and college, you know, all that. I'm going to go to Arizona. 33 years later, it's 116 degrees. What in God's green earth am I doing here? Why am I not at the Fish House in Carlsbad today? Any place. Why am I not at Solana Beach? Why am I not at Del Mar? But instead, no. I'm in Phoenix. And I love it. It's great.
Well, you know, everybody says it's a dry heat, Brad. What do you say to that?
That is such a load. God, you know what? When people are like, oh, and here's where I'm at. When I have these so-called friends, including my family, that are in Chicago and New York City, and it doesn't really apply over to San Diego, because when it's the dead of winter and it's minus 40 Minneapolis, and I put out a picture that it's 65 and I'm golfing in shorts, it's just my own little nod, you know. It's my middle finger, so to speak, you know, saying, hey, it's not all bad over here. But yeah, it's a dry heat. We have a baseball team that's trying to figure themselves out, Braden. I think they're going the right direction in the youth movement that they made. Last night you saw a lot of that in the game with Locklear hitting a home run and Alec Thomas hitting a home run and fought on the mound. Wasn't a good night for your Padres, but I think they're going the right direction. And as you said earlier, it's a busy market over here. We've got the Cardinals, Arizona State's heading up to a place outside of Payson called Camp Tonazona. If you're an Arizona State alum, you know all about it. It's a football field in the middle of the forest where they do training camp for 5 days. It's the coolest thing ever. Going up there with Pat Tillman and Jake Plummer back in the day and doing some stories. And so the sports scene over here never really stops. And it's fun to be a part of it. I love being on back home and have a lot of friends there on the air, off the air that I grew up with. And they always like hearing when I'm on with you. So Let's give them something good today. I won't screw up, I promise.
Talking founder and CEO of Sports 360 AZ, Brad Cesmat. Overall, the Diamondbacks. I mean, we could break down like the series and the matchups and everything like that. But at this point in time, the Padres are playing for a National League pennant. Arizona, with all the injuries, shipped off a lot of players, and so they're not in the race. And so it lines up for what a lot of people say is the dog days of summer in Major League Baseball. Overall, since the Padres are going to have to deal with Arizona for the remainder of time, at least it seems like, what has been the last couple of years of Arizona Diamondbacks baseball, where they're headed, like what direction they're heading? Obviously, a setback last year not making the playoffs. This year is expected to be a lot better. Injuries hurt them. They still have a bright future, but the status of the Arizona Diamondbacks franchise, and of course, and I know it's a two-part question, but I like throwing a lot at you, Brad. You talked about the market. I mean, we've talked about this market multiple times. It's a very competitive market that doesn't like the Diamondbacks as much as they like the Suns in town.
Well, I think that's fair. Look, it's like, I'll go back to me growing up in San Diego and going to the Clippers games and seeing Magic Johnson's first game and the hook shot at the buzzer at the sports arena that Teddy would call the gas station. Yeah, with the 76 balls floating around her. Me doing San Diego State stuff with Marshall Falk and Tony Gwynn as my color analyst. I go through all the things that I did there and growing up there, and then coming over here and see a lot of the same parallels. Braden, the idea of an NFL team being ripped out of a city, we have an NFL team over here that hasn't been very good at all. We have an NFL team that every year talks a good game, and they don't do much. And they fire their coaches about every 3 or 4 years. Yep, they went to a Super Bowl in 2009. I was there. It was great. They've had some terrific players, individual players through the years, but in this market, you summed it up correctly, but I think it's shifting. This is really a Suns town. I remember I'm on the radio in San Diego, and I get a phone call from someone over here saying, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you about leaving Mighty 690 and coming over here and do an audition." So I flew in. At the time, I didn't think anybody at the station knew, but they all did, which is funny. They take me to a Suns game. They're playing Sacramento. This is in '94 after they lost to Michael and the Bulls in a terrific championship series. And the lights go down, and they play Alan Parsons' Eye in the Sky and all that stuff. They introduce Charles Barkley, and the place is going crazy. And for those that are a little bit older in this, you'll appreciate this. They lean into me as the lights come up and say, "Now you'd be hosting the coach's show. You'd be hosting the owner's show." I'm like, "The owner has a show?" And Jerry Colangelo. And we're the home of the Suns. We put everything all around you. I'm like, where do I sign up? Because we did not have that in San Diego. We didn't. It's very unfortunate the NBA has not gone back to San Diego. And so as the market grew over here, the day after I did my on-air audition over here, that pick up a paper the morning after, and it's Colangelo working on Major League Baseball coming to Phoenix. So I got here at a great time. There's a lot going on. And the Diamondbacks did come on board in '98. I was part of the Diamondbacks originals in terms of broadcasts and all that. Colangelo asked me to broadcast 70 Diamondback games on radio in '99. It was great doing play-by-play for the year. Made a lot of great friends. Spent a lot of time when Tony would come over, Tony Gwynn. When Tony would be here in town, I would take him to some Suns games. And I remember one time Charles Barkley was in the layup line, and Tony's sitting next to me, and he's like, "That's Charles Barkley." And Charles mouths to me, "Tony Gwynn?" And then it points at him. Yeah. And so Charles goes through the layup line. He runs over and he gives Tony this huge hug. And, "Oh, man, I love you. So respect you. Da, da, da." I'm just sitting there watching these two. And Charles runs off, and Tony leans into me. He's like, "Charles Barkley thinks I'm cool." That's so great. So, you have all these great memories of a sports town that is growing. Or when Bill Walton, the late Bill Walton, would come over here doing Pac-12 games or basketball games, we'd get together. And Bill one time called me and said, "I think I'm going to drive my rental car out on the Apache Trail." The Apache Trail would be like driving to Borrego Springs and driving over the hill to Julian. Like, "Bill, don't do that. Please don't do that." And so as this market has grown, the basketball team, while it's still relevant, they've gone through a couple of ownership changes from the Colangelo era. Jerry was the best owner I dealt with easily. This is not even close the best owner I've dealt with in all sports. San Diego or Phoenix. It's not even close. And there are a lot of reasons for that. You don't want to hear them now. But as this market has grown, you have to figure out where do the Diamondbacks fit. They need a new stadium. Stadium's 28 years old, hard to believe. They're going to get a new stadium, or a renovation, I should say, renovation of the stadium finally. And most years they do compete. When people say they don't throw money at a roster, they're a cheap team, that's simply not true. They just throw money the wrong direction. Madison Bumgarner, that's money the wrong direction. No offense to Mad Bum. But Jordan Montgomery, they've had some big contracts over here on the pitching side that have not worked out. It's a World Series team just a couple of years removed. Last year they missed the postseason on the final day of the season. This year they're sitting there 8 games out of the wild card. So you could make the argument, last year or 2 years ago when they went to the World Series, they were in about the same situation, a little bit closer. And then they went on a tremendous run. This team has had a ton of injuries. Their last night was the 11th different Diamondback to save a game for them this year. 11. That just doesn't happen.
No, it does not. And we talk about, obviously the Diamondbacks, being a team that the Padres have really struggled with for most, especially out in Arizona. As we're talking with founder and CEO of Sports 360 AZ, Brad Cesmat. Loved all the stories that you put in there, by the way. Great wordsmith. We love the big reason why I like having you on. I mean, it's just all these stories out of nowhere. Tony Gwynn talking about, with Charles Barkley. It's great.
For you. That's what
it's great. It's great.
Run right through a segment.
Just run right through it. But the stadium thing's interesting to me because I knew that the Diamondbacks were kind of against the A's going to Vegas. And I know the Diamondbacks played a couple of games in Vegas during spring training, and they were trying to find leverage for a stadium. And, Arizona to me is a little bit, and who knows, they've been a little bit more like California where, and maybe this is a trending deal, a lot of taxpayers don't want to pay for buildings anymore for very rich owners. What has been the latest? It sounds like they're going to remodel, Chase Field. I know that I've been told, I haven't been there, but I've been told it's like going to watch a game at a Costco, and it's hot and the AC doesn't work inside. They can't get the roof to work. I mean, it's just been, falling apart. It seems like. What is the latest on Arizona? Is there any threat of them potentially losing the Diamondbacks like they did with the Coyotes? It sounds like they probably will get a hockey team back. But from the business side of things with the Arizona Diamondbacks, how does it all shake out?
Okay, have you been to North County Fair?
I have been to the North County Fair. Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's not a Costco where the Diamondbacks play. It's North County Fair. That's what it is. It's just this, I don't know, except the roof actually does work now. So you're just going to a mall, and it's fine. Like I said, today's 116. The Padres are probably saying, why in God's green earth weren't we scheduled a 3-game series in August in Seattle? Why are we here? Because they're not out on the golf course today.
No.
And if they are, it's heat stroke time. So the business side of it, the Diamondbacks are here. There's always going to be the negotiation through the media, and that's calmed down quite a bit. They've come to an agreement in the last month. They'll be here. The renovations will happen. I think the bigger story, though, Braden, is will there be a baseball season once they get through the renovation? Because it sounds like the dark clouds of labor unrest are more than forming just a little bit. I don't know very many people are a fan of the commissioner right now. And, the Bryce Harper outburst in the locker room last week, there's more of that evidently, but it's not been out there. Let's just say that there's a lot of frustration aimed towards the commissioner. This is a market that if you win, then they'll show up. San Diego is similar. I'm a kid. We go to Beach Town night and the KGB Sky Show and all those great memories. In 84, I'm camped out around the stadium when they're playing the Cubs, and they go to the World Series against the Tigers and all these great moments. But there was also then the Chargers. And I'm on the Charger broadcast, Laz and Hacksaw and myself and Pat Curran. And And so you could get into the Charger season, and then, hey, San Diego State might be good this year, and then Marshall's there doing his thing, and I left right after Marshall left. And in San Diego, you have the Padres, and you have some other minor sports that are fine. You have three universities. UC San Diego, you can't overlook them and what they did this year in the NC2As, and USD and San Diego State, obviously. And hockey's not there professionally at the highest level. I think the NHL will come back here eventually. They love the Sun Belt markets. They love the Southwest. But in this market, if you don't win, and if you have an owner that's not committed to winning, then you're not going to get attendance. Attendance up this year is up about 8% for the Diamondbacks. They're an entertaining team. Corbin Carroll, entertaining player, young, got him signed to a long-term contract, fun to watch. Alec Thomas, very good outfielder. You know, they call it the no-fly zone, the outfielders that they have here. Not a lot of power. Gio Suarez, before he's traded over to Seattle, very popular player. So the fans will show up here if the team is competitive, if the team gets after it. It's probably like this in San Diego, back home. If the Cubs roll in, it's a Cubs convention, right? Even in San Diego, the Cubs fans just manage to find their way to tickets. When you have this upcoming 13 games against the Dodgers and the Giants starting next week, when the Padres play the Dodgers and Giants, it's going to be epic. If it were over here, it would be, well, hey, Kansas City's here this weekend with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce for preseason football. That's great. They're here. They're only on the team playing. They're not going to play. Preseason football is the biggest ripoff in all sports. So, you know, that it's a market where we can just turn our attention to several other things, but they're here to stay. There's no concern about that. Getting hockey back here, I think it'll happen. It's just the building situation has never been right. Ever been right.
Brad, we appreciate your time as always, giving us a little lowdown on everything going on in Arizona sports. And I know we're going to have you on, you know, potentially NFL season if the Cardinals do anything, but I know how much fun they are to deal with from time to time. Plus, Arizona State football is gearing up for what should be another fun season. Make sure you keep Jordan Spurgeon in line, and look forward to talking to you again.
You got it. Spurge is always out of control. Good stuff. Say hello to everybody back home. Make it a great day. Appreciate it, Brad. Brad Cesmat joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show. And it tells so many great stories in between, which is great. And, you know, we could have talked about the breakdown of the games, but to me, you know, you get excited for a series when one team's like completely out of it and the other and the other team's competing for a playoff spot. Especially with like Brad brings back a lot of fun San Diego memories. But he did blow through the segment, and he blew through the segment. And we're super late, and so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, well, more to come. It is the noon lunchtime hour, so we might have some food for thought for you when we come back. If not, coach's poll came out for college football. We'll briefly talk about that and lock you back into Padres baseball on the Braden Surprenant Show.
12:23 on a Tuesday. Baseball coverage on 97 to the Fans presented by T-Mobile at T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Braden Surprenant, he's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, Settings #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. People like my Costco comment about Chase Field. North County Fair is probably a better one. Where do the Diamondbacks play? They play at the North County Fair. That's what that stadium is like. Talking with Brad Cesmat in the last segment. Yesterday, since we don't have too much time in this segment because we went really long with Brad, we do want to dive into a little bit of college football, and then we'll get back to Padres baseball. We do need a contestant for a midday sports standoff, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Preseason college football coaches polls come out. Again, this is the coaches picking team. Now, here's the thing. I do know some secrets about the coaches poll. Not all the coaches fill out the coaches poll. Did you know that, Frank?
No.
Okay, so they have, and I don't know what coaches do vote in this thing, but I do know when I was at TCU, sometimes Gary Patterson didn't fill it out. Sometimes he's like, hey, I got other things to do. Can you fill this out? Not to me, but to somebody else. Okay, so that might be the case at a lot of these different places. Sometimes they do pick, but that's just the preseason they probably pick. So the top 25 came out. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You had an additional 26 teams that received votes in this top 25. But it's kind of a preview of this year, and we'll see what the AP Top 25 comes out. And we're going to get you dialed in on college football later in the month of August when we have more time, when it's less busy with Padres baseball, especially on Thursdays, on off days, or maybe Friday mornings and everything like that. And we'll have some previews for you for the regular season. We are going to talk about Aztecs football in the 1 o'clock hour, give you a camp report on what the Aztecs are doing. And again, I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot better. Coaches poll came out, Frank. What do we got in the top 10?
We have, I know I don't have it up, but I do know, number 1, Texas.
Yes, 28 first place votes.
Number 2 would have been Ohio State. Severely annoying me. Number 3, Penn State. Georgia, number 4. Notre Dame, number 5. Clemson received 2 first place votes at number 6.
One of them had to be Dabo.
Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and Miami round out the top 10.
I don't like Miami in the top 10. Are you a believer in Carson Beck? I'm not a believer in Carson Beck at all. Absolutely not. I thought he was not good at Georgia. I think he benefited from Georgia being a legit team. I'd be surprised if Miami makes it ranked at the end of the year. Against the coaches poll. Arizona State, 11. Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan, Ole Miss, SMU, Florida, Tennessee, Indiana round up the next 10 spots. And then the next 20 top 20 with Kansas State at number 20, Iowa State, Texas A&M, BYU, Texas Tech, Boise State. I almost guarantee you Texas A&M goes 8-4. That happens every year. Just wait for November. Just wait for November. I do think Texas is probably one of the best teams in the country. I think Ohio State's up there. Penn State can't outdo Georgia. Georgia is Georgia. There used to be a saying in town here for high school football, helix is helix. Like you could never count out helix. Helix is always helix. I don't know how much more you can say that these day and age, but everybody that knows, like helix is always going to be pretty good in high school football, especially with their program. Georgia is Georgia. It's going to be hard to knock down Georgia. They're in the top 5. I understand that. I get Notre Dame. Notre Dame, Phil Steele's not believing in Notre Dame as much. They might have a little bit of a letdown. Other teams receiving votes: Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisville, USC, Utah, Baylor, Auburn, Iowa, Memphis, Army, Tulane, Georgia Tech, TCU, Nebraska, Syracuse. I mean, at this point, people are just throwing teams out there. Navy got votes in the top 25. Navy and Army, both guys votes in the top 25.
By the way, look who else got a singular vote for
Buffalo.
the top 20. Buffalo.
Buffalo.
How about that?
I got to know. Do you see the AP poll is great because you can see who everybody voted for? Reddit usually posts it. I don't know if they did this for the coaches poll. Like, Vanderbilt got 3 votes.
Yep.
Why? Because Diego Pavia's the quarterback?
Listen,
man.
One person makes a team these days.
I think these coaches were playing NCAA 26, and we're just like, hey, this team looks pretty good. He looks up pretty good.
I love that Buffalo got a first place vote. As my online dynasty rebuild team last year, I love that Buffalo got one.
You still have that tie.
25.
You still have that tie to Buffalo now.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, UNLV got 8 votes or 8 points. UNLV was pretty good last year.
Yeah, they were solid.
It's one of 2 teams in the Mountain West, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to look at this. Boise State was in the top 25.
Boise State's number 25, yes.
Aztecs have to play Boise State. They get them at home, though.
Yes.
They get them at home. This is the first time Oklahoma is not ranked in the coaches poll to start the season since 1999.
Wow.
Do they have a bounce back year?
I think they do. I know Jackson Arnold's not there anymore. He's at Auburn now.
They got John Mateer.
Yeah.
John Mateer looked pretty good at Washington State.
Also, Auburn getting 50 votes to get into the top 25. So I think that's kind of shows you where they think Jackson Arnold is as a quarterback.
Yeah, potentially. You know what? You know what's the best about this? I don't see SC on there. I don't have to see USC on there that always gets put in the top 25 to start the season and never does anything. It's been enough years. I'm tired of watching USC start the season in the top 25. Now, again, it's the coaches poll. AP top 25 usually comes out within the next couple of weeks after the coaches poll comes out. But overall, do we think Derek and LeMase is upset about Oregon being ranked 7th? It's behind Penn State.
Might be. They did lose a couple of big names, though, did they not? As compared to Penn State, because Penn State's returning a lot of seniors.
Penn State's got a lot of guys back. They got a lot of players back, and they're going to be a team that you're going to have to worry about.
And I'm convinced Ohio State gets the national champion benefit there going second.
I think Michigan's going to fall off 14. I think SMU is going to have a down year in comparison. I think Arizona State comes back down to earth in 2026. I think Tennessee has an opportunity to have a decent season. They got a brutal schedule, though. Kansas State, Iowa State, you got a ranked matchup if the AP agrees with the coaches poll in week 0 playing in Ireland.
Yep. That's
going to be fun, too. BYU's a sneaky team as well. Big 12 got 5 teams in the top 25. Love to see it. Mountain West, as mentioned, only got one team in the top 25, but had 2 at least, or at one other receiving votes with UNLV. It's pretty good in terms of the Padres. I saw the Padres post-game show with Sam Levitt's Arizona State Sun Devils on Go Aztecs thing. San Diego State's had a pretty favorable schedule in terms of playing the top. If they have to play some of the top teams in the Mountain West, they get to play them at home, and they don't have to play on the road. And we'll talk more about Aztecs football later on the show. We do need a contestant for a midday sports stand-up. We will get that when we come back as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. $12:37 on a Tuesday. Braden Surprenant show. Boss's kids come in. What up, B-Serp? Love it. I love it. A decent amount of high school kids that I coach call me B-Serp. Of course, Zonder, the intern college kid at USD, at USD Athletics, always calls me B-Serp. It's a fun little nickname. But as Frank mentioned, my last name is kind of a mouthful. So, anyway, Braden Surprenant show. We're here each and every day from 10 to 2 on Santa Cruz Number One Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Braden Surprenant show channel. It's the first link in the description below on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com, or if you pull up the YouTube app and you go at B_SURP, it should pull up my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the black button that says subscribe in big bold letters, and it will get all of our content to you in a lot faster of a way. You can also listen to us wherever you get your podcast, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Apple Music, whether it be the Odyssey app, iHeartRadio app, wherever it may be. You can listen to us in an audio platform. Be sure to follow us on social media as well at B_SURP, are all my social media handles, B-Serp, hence the nickname, at B_SURP show on social media as well. And Frank has great tweets. He's got great tweets. FMarks324. He'll have some more racing stuff for you too. I mean, he dabbles in a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit about a lot.
Do you put your Mets frustrations on there?
No. I try not to, at least.
Do you have a Mets burner frustrations
account? No, I do not. I can honestly say I do not.
Oh, man.
It was annoying enough creating the show Twitter account with all the captures and all the stuff, the whole prove I'm a human being thing. That was annoying enough. I don't need to go through that to create burner accounts.
What is more annoying, that or the sport? What did we just hear from, what's her name? From Maggie Gray? What do they call it? The sports minute?
Yeah. The
what
sports
is more
minutes that are now 30 seconds.
The sports 30s? What is more annoying? Not her. I think she does a great job.
No, she's fine.
Over breakdowns of preseason football.
Yes.
That is brutal.
Yep.
This kind of came up last night. I'm playing softball, and my buddy Matt fills in. He never plays. He absolutely never plays. He's a big Cowboys fan. We got him to play. He's always been against it. I think he had fun last night. He did a pretty good job. You met Matt. Usually videos, right? Mm-hmm. And we have some good content for that coming out. And so he doesn't video this, that we needed a sub. He decided to play, which was great. He did a great job. But as he's sitting there, he's like asking about what people are doing on Saturday. I'm assuming he wants to go to the Padres Red Sox game. Mm. No. He is going to, is it Shore Club? It might be Shore Club. He's going on Saturday to, maybe it's a Cowboys watch bar. He is going to, I thought he said Shore Club. I was kind of half in it because I'm busy on Saturday with other things. Mm. He said, he was telling somebody else, do you want to go to Shore Club? I think at the game's at like 10 in the morning or something like that, West Coast time, to watch. I was like, for what? And he was like, for preseason Cowboys football. And I was like, no.
He draws the foul.
I do not want to watch preseason. I don't even want to watch preseason football, period. Let alone go to a bar in PB to watch the Cowboys preseason football game. After the first drive for both the offense and the defense, I mean, what are you still watching it for? I understand when I was a Chargers fan, I used to be down watching, like, get some scouting in for like the third string, fourth string. But the reaction from camp, the reports from camp Talk about some people that don't know anything about football, reporting on football. I mean, I saw a camp report the other day that talked about a center that missed a couple of snaps and missed blocks and was terrible, and mentioned the guy by name. But unfortunately for the reporter, he actually said the left guard's name. And the left guard on social media is be like, oh, that's interesting. I played guard all day today. So I don't know if that was me or not.
Oops.
Overreacting to preseason games is a major foul. It's just, I get it. Football fan. You should have heard Frank. Frank off air was just, anytime it's over the top NFL, he becomes incensed. But I agree with Frank on this. Preseason stuff drives me insane.
When you're breaking
7-on-7 interceptions that are thrown by quarterbacks, acting like the guy's going to lose his job, drives me insane.
When you're breaking down week 1 of the preseason like it is week 15, you need psychiatric help. Like, you really do. I'm not joking. You need mental help. If you are breaking down and analyzing week 1 of the preseason like it is a life or death game, you are a person who needs to have ESPN taken away from you.
You've been a part of, what is Infinity Sportsnet? Right, when it was CBS. Okay, so like the inner workings of having to make those minutes. They're not easy to do. I mean, you got to come up with something every single day, right?
Yeah.
And right now, the national, aside from select baseball markets, the national focus in sports is on NFL training camp.
Yeah.
And if it's not NFL training camp, it's college training camps in the small town America.
I was
right?
going to say, for us, we didn't really care about that.
Right. So I understand where Maggie Gray's coming from. But that entire 30-second sports minute, which makes no sense, was about, if they don't get their act in gear, it's going to be another long season for the... I just was assuming she was talking about the Bears. I didn't even know who she was talking about. I don't remember who she was talking about. But that's where I was like, what? I know there's people in the YouTube chat that are still Chargers fans that are probably acting like that. Like Travis Gundy today was fired up about Keenan Allen re-signing with the Chargers potentially. I don't know. I don't care. Nobody here cares. Are you getting to see like what exactly she said in the log?
Yeah, I'll play it right now.
Okay, let's see what we got. The Sports Minute again.
Hold on here.
Hey, shout out DSG. They got the Braden Surprenant Show shirts. I need pictures, dude.
There you go.
We need pictures of you and me's holding up the shirts. Yeah, we got it?
Yeah, here we go.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute.
All right.
23,000 fans packed Soldier Field over the weekend, and the Bears' offense gave them flashbacks, and not the good kind. Delay of game penalties, drives stalled. The defense owned the day. Caleb Williams and the starters look rushed, not ready. Nervous energy? Maybe, but this team's got 4 weeks to turn tension into timing. Otherwise, it's the same old punchline in a new era. I'm Maggie Gray.
Okay, so that wasn't, again, they haven't played the preseason game, right?
I don't know anymore. Honestly, I
got to look this
care.
up.
I genuinely do not care.
The National Football League. No, their first preseason game is the 10th. So that was, and I remember going to this when the Chargers did it.
That was about a scrimmage.
They practiced at Soldier Field in front of 25,000 people. And the defense, who, by the way, usually looks pretty good at this point in time, and coming from somebody that coaches football and has done it for the last 9 years, the defense usually looks pretty good in the first couple of days of practice. The breakdown of a practice at Soldier Field and criticizing what Caleb... I'm not a big Caleb Williams fan. I'm not. I don't think he's that great. I think he's going to be a lot better this year. The Bears, I thought, did a good job in the draft. I think they did a good job improving the offensive line and getting him weapons. But we are reacting to a Bears preseason practice before preseason game. I mean, we're talking about practice. We're talking about, it's even better than that. We're talking about training camp. Training camp practice. Bears aren't on the same page. It could be a laughingstock season for the Bears. They don't turn it around in 4 weeks. Oh my God.
I so hate what this industry has become.
Come on.
I hate it so much.
Come on.
It's pandering to football. It's pandering to the NFL. That's all it is. And I can't stand it.
NFL's king, Frank, but I agree. The comments, we could have more. We could be better than this.
And you're wondering why MLB wants to back out of its contract with ESPN. Couldn't imagine why.
There's no way.
When was the last time you saw anything promoting the NHL on ESPN during the offseason? They have games. The ESPN has NHL games.
It was practice.
We're
talking about training camp for the Chicago Bears on like a fan fest level day, and the Bears offense didn't look very good, and it was like, they better turn around in 4 weeks.
No, TRM, we were not filling time.
We're making fun of something. It's hilarious.
We had a plan. That plan will be executed in the next segment, but the
fact that people think we're breaking down Bears training camp to me is hilarious. That is hilarious. That's what you got out of that entire deal. Hilarious.
It is a slow sports day, Bill, but not this slow.
It's not that slow. I had to call that out. That is, and you're going to have more of those. By the way, Hard Knocks debuts tonight. I will be.
Yeah, the Bills, I think.
I will be tuned into the Bills. Absolutely.
Good for them.
It's time for the Midday Sports Stand-Up.
Welcome to Midday Sports Stand-Up on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
Somebody DM. Did I just hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm music? Yes, you did.
Might have done.
Yes, you did. All right. We only got a couple of minutes here. He's playing today.
All right. We have Jeremy and El Cajon today. Jeremy, how you doing today, bud?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Well, I was doing better before we heard the last Sports Minute. And in order to keep with the trend, let's just continue to bolster this sport that I hate so much. You have 4 possible answers for this one, so it's a short one today. Who are the 4 NFL teams that have live, living mascots? 4 NFL teams have living mascots. Who are they? Jeremy, you get the first.
Don't dress up in a suit.
Right, yes. Ones that don't dress up in a suit that are actual Seminoles.
How many other?
4.
Denver Broncos.
Denver has the Bronco, yes.
Animal mascots in the National Football League. Don't the Falcons have a bird that flies around?
No, they do not.
They don't have they don't have like a pregame falcon that flies?
Nope. Jeremy.
What about the Philadelphia Eagles?
There are 2 birds, but those 2 birds are not the 2 birds.
The Seahawks definitely have that hawk before the game.
Seattle. Jeremy, you can clinch a tie with the right answer here.
Let's go with the Ravens.
Jeremy has clinched the tie.
Did we get all the birds out of there?
Yes, all the birds are out of there.
Dolphins used to have a live dolphin.
Yeah. Then Ace Ventura put a stop to that.
It's the reason why Chris Ello rooted for the Dolphins. Live mascots in the NFL. Dallas Cowboys have Rowdy that nobody likes, apparently.
Dallas Cowboys are a mascot.
They are. Do the Rams have a ram? I doubt it. I'm not going them either. I don't know. The Rams.
No. Jeremy, this is for the win.
Ooh.
I'm thinking about all these animals
You've
that I
already
know I see at the college level.
clinched the tie, so
see.
you can't lose.
Rod.
I have no idea.
Unfortunately, not a mascot.
I mean, I'm thinking about all the live mascots in college football. Like when Uga almost got destroyed by Bevo. I don't know.
Yes, Rod, the Bears have a live bear.
They should. It'd be more exciting than their offense, apparently.
It would be, apparently.
The Texans don't have like a bull down there. I don't know. Does Buffalo have a buffalo?
Braden, that is 3 strikes. You are out. Jeremy, hold the line because you have qualified.
Real, I'm going to be upset.
Cleveland.
They have a dog?
Yes.
Do they really?
Yes, they have a bulldog. The
They
dog
have
pound.
They have a bull. Oh, I know the dog pound. I didn't know they had a live
Jeremy,
dog in the sideline.
They do. I was surprised that the Browns were the one that were. Everyone knows the. Thought everyone did at least. Knew the Browns had a dog.
I know they had a dog. Or I mean, I know they had the dog pound. I didn't know they had an actual bulldog. Again, I was just thinking about all the college mascots.
Actual true life aminals. Yes, they do have one.
Ralphie. I would think of Uga. I love that video of the players talking about Sir Purr. What up, Sir Purr? Who is that? It's Sir Purr. What's Sir Purr? Oh, the mascot. He's the Panther. He's got a name? Yeah, it's Sir Purr. Sir Purr's a great mascot. Boltman's a living being, right? He's in a suit. He's also not the official mascot of the Chargers.
He's also not an aminal.
Aminal. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on your description of an animal.
Yes, I did. Death by palm tree. I went pantless today. Yes. Jesus.
Final hour continues. Didn't get too much food talk during the the noon lunch hour. Congratulations to who won? Jeremy?
Yes, Jeremy
and
and
El Cajon. First qualifier of the month. First, right now. If I could hold everybody else off, Jeremy would have a great chance of qualifying for a grand prize. A 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, plus VIP admission to AYU Day Club, and 175 food and beverage credits. Celebrate summer with a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas. Dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences in the 5.5-acre pool complex, largest elevated pool deck on the Las Vegas Strip, and experience AYU Day Club, a stunning oasis inspired by idyllic islands of Southeast Asia, where the ultimate party concepts transform the weekend into never-ending summer. Special summer rates available now at rwlasvegas.com, now offering no resort fees and complimentary parking. Rod's having a day. He had tacos today. It's great to see Rod having some tacos. Ferris Khan, Michigan guy. Everything in Culver's in the Midwest is better than the mid In-N-Out burger. They even have fish and chicken and cheese curds. Have you been to Culver's?
I have not, no.
I went to
never really
Culver's.
been in an area that has a Culver's either. So
flyover states for a reason, Frank. I went to Culver's when I was in Iowa. I went with USD football to Drake last year in Des Moines, Iowa. The whole hotel we stayed at across the street, a little bit down a ways, was Culver's. And I said, this is the best opportunity I have to try this place. Culver's. So I went. Let me try it out. I think they got a butter burger or something like that. I think is like their main thing. So I got a cheeseburger there, and I had to try. I like cheese curds, so I got the fries, I got the cheese curds, I got a plethora of things. And again, when you travel with college sports teams, there's a lot of downtime that you have to kill in a hotel or around, because you usually don't stay in like areas that have stuff to do, because you want the team focused on the task at hand the next day. So I walked my Friday night that night was walking to Culver's and walking back. They also have like custard and stuff too, like the frozen custard, delicious. The custard was off the chart. Cheese curds, money. French fries are good. Overall, the burger was pretty solid. Culver's is a solid place. It was a solid place. Now, the question is, would I go to Culver's if it was in town? Probably not. Do you have, I think I know the answer. I know the answer to this, actually.
Okay.
Is there a place that Frank Marchese would frequent that's a fast food place that's not in San Diego, that if it was put in San Diego, you would be the first in line?
White Castle.
I knew it. I knew it was White Castle. What's your White Castle order? I know we've probably talked about this before.
I have to get the mozzarella sticks.
They have the best mozz
that
sticks
is a must.
at a fast food place?
Yes.
Have you tried Sonic's mozz sticks yet?
No, it's like Handles. I keep forgetting it's here.
Handles is at least down the street from you,
No,
man.
I know. But like I said, I never think about it, so I never think it's there. It's like I forget it's there.
I'm going to tell you right now, you go there the first time, you'll think about it a lot.
I'm sure I will.
And then all of a sudden, then it's a problem. So maybe it's good that you haven't been there yet.
But probably now I'd probably get a couple of sliders, a small chicken ring, and small fry, like a little sample of everything.
So you said sliders, and then you said what?
Chicken rings.
What's a chicken ring?
It's basically a nugget with a hole cut out of it.
Chicken rings.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never had chicken ring.
Yeah, chicken rings.
Rings.
Yeah.
Instead of wings.
It's like a nugget in the shape of an onion ring.
Did you see Death by Palm Tree?
No.
Guy got hammered in Brooklyn last week, and in his hammered state, he ordered a case of sliders and pepper jack sticks.
I mean, that's
up
just
to 20-something full sliders in a briefcase.
Yeah. No, that is a thing. That's the family pack. The family pack is it gives you like a box, little briefcase box that has all the sliders.
That is a real thing.
You
don't drink, so you haven't done it. I got to know, like, has anybody done something like that now with, like, DoorDash? Has anybody gone out and had a good time, Ubered back home, DoorDash food, and then forgotten about it, or maybe fell asleep while waiting for the food, or falling asleep with food in hand?
I remember.
Has anybody done that?
I remember a boss of mine in New York, not in the radio industry. He went out with some friends one night, got a little lit, and ordered 40 tacos from Taco Bell and ate most of them. And I think he did fall asleep with like one in his hand.
I need to hear the stories of some of these.
I think that was it.
Divine Sports Gospel. Our guys at Divine Sports Gospel said, we've done that.
Oh, God.
I need to know their story. I did that for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it was more exhaustion than drinking. I went out, I think we went to a Padres game on a Friday night, and I got back, and I was starving. And so I'm well aware. I ordered the DoorDash because I was getting a ride back from a friend. And I had to make him drive through someplace. Mm-hmm. He was already dropping me off. So I ordered Taco Bell while I was walking out of the ballpark. And I had I had morning football practice, and we had work, and then I had something else, and then we went to the game. I mean, it was a long week. I was exhausted. And I ordered it. And I was so tired. I was like, I'm going to lay down and put like quick pitch on to wait for the, because it was going to take a long time.
Quick
and so
lights out after that.
Not off. And I wake up on the couch in the in the family room at like 3:30 in the morning. And I go, I need to go to bed. And then as I'm walking to the stairs to go up, I'm like, oh my God. I look at my phone. There's like 5 phone calls from like a random number. So it's obviously the DoorDash people. Mm-hmm. And I go, oh God, I forgot I ordered Taco Bell. And so I go to the front door and I open it and it's sitting there. And I'm like, okay. So I grab it and I throw it in the fridge. And then I go to bed and I get up the next day for boot camp or whatever like that. And then I forgot what I had to do that day. I did something else that I did. I was going to come home and eat. That's what I had. The next day, no, I wasn't going to boot camp. The next day I had to drive to Mission Viejo for the Mission Viejo Passing League tournament. And so I'm up there all day in the hot sun. I'm tired, whatever like that. And I'm sitting in traffic in Camp Pendleton, as one would do, driving
normally
back. Because they made the lanes go down to whatever at the 70-something. It will never not be backed up. And I'm thinking about the Taco Bell I'm going to eat. I'm like, I don't have to pick up food because I ordered it last night. I have an air fryer. I can fire up something. This is going to be great. And so I'm thinking about it as I'm driving back. And my brother, who was living with us at the time, saw the Taco Bell in the fridge. He decided to do the exact same thing I was going to do and put it in the air fryer and then ate most of it. But the problem is I didn't think he ate any of it. So, and I was like, I passed out the night before waiting for it to show up.
Yeah.
I thought the DoorDash guy who left a bunch of phone calls got irritated and just ate it and just ate some of it. And so I was like worried. So I had to text him. I'm like, did you eat the Taco Bell in the fridge? And he thinks I'm like trying to rat him out. He's like, I'm like, no, I need to know. I don't want to know if a half-eaten taco is from my brother or a random DoorDash driver that's upset I didn't let him in. And he was like, oh, no, I ate it. So now here's the thing with the Taco Bell. There's certain things that you can reheat the next day. There's certain things you cannot reheat the next day.
I wouldn't trust any of it the next day, but anyway.
It's already bad anyway. I mean, that stuff is nuclear. That probably lasts a long time. You could probably leave any type of fast food in your fridge for months and it wouldn't even get mold. That's what you're putting in your body.
That's a great thought.
Anyway.
Thanks for that.
So there are things you can reheat the next day and there's things you can't. What you can't reheat are anything that's crunchy, right? So, you could probably pull off air frying a crunchy taco if necessary. And again, I'm trying not to waste my money here. I burned it, trying to make up for lost resorts. So that's, you could do the burritos. Reheating a burrito is easy. Throw that in the microwave. I mean, it's basically like a frozen one they would give you. What you can't do is reheat nachos. Can't do that. I usually get a nachos Bel Grande. So I was like, I'm probably not going to eat that, but I'll eat all the other stuff. What's in the fridge is the only thing that's left is obviously the nachos. So I got burned on that. So I ended up not eating the food. And then I was like, all right, well, now I got to go get something else. I forgot what I ended up getting. But that was the worst it was for me. My friends have fallen. I have a friend that has fallen asleep with a taco in hand on the couch after ordering DoorDash after a night out. He woke. What's worse, waking up and having the DoorDash outside or waking up on the couch with a half-eaten taco on your chest?
Honestly, I think it's waking up with it outside because at least because now you know, okay, I never ate last night.
Right.
I just spent money. I never ate, and this is most likely going in the garbage now. That's worse. At least you ate something. You may have a mess to clean up, but at least you ate something.
Jonathan M. Years back, my cousin and I went to Jack in the Box after the club, ordered 50 orders of tacos. We waited about 30 minutes for them to make them.
My goodness.
I mean, there's a lot of great stories on this, and we're not going to continue this conversation, obviously. Working like the graveyard shift at a fast food restaurant and getting some drunk guy or two people that have had a great time ordering 50 orders of Jack in the Box tacos, I'm losing my mind. Because they're probably not eating them.
Uh-huh.
But you have to do it. 50 orders. That's 100 Jack in the Box tacos after a night drinking. I'll tell you what, after a night drinking...
Our heart goes out to you guys.
I mean, I get upset with, the Frappuccino rush at Starbucks. I can only imagine having to work at like 2 a.m. at a Jack in the Box that's open 24 hours.
The drunk dope rush.
And get exactly. 50 tacos, please. I think falling asleep with a taco on your body and waking up to that is you have to reevaluate a lot of things. At some point in the night, something went horribly, horribly wrong. To wake up with a half-eaten beefy 5-layer burrito on your couch. Been there, done that. Everybody's been there and done that. I like all the stories in the chat.
I can honestly say, even as a recovering fat guy, I have never once fallen asleep with food in hand. Never once.
I do hear the story one time.
Probably when I was a very, very, very young kid, but never once.
The people in the chat, yes, my girlfriend does that all the time. It drives me crazy. There is one time that I've heard this story before. I think I slightly remember it. I think I was a little kid and my family took me and my brother and my sister, all super young, to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first night there...
Oh, that'll wipe you out.
The first night there before like even going to the park, like you got to the hotel.
Yeah.
It was like a couple of days we were going to be there. And everybody's excited. I think, and still hungry, and I think I ordered like a hot dog, and I passed out before the room service came with a hot dog because they were, they got 3 young kids.
Yeah, they just sat in the car for 2 hours, and
get the whatever.
That's
and we got up there late at night, and I was out cold. So I guess I've done it twice now. I did it when I was little, waiting for the hot dog to come to the hotel room at Disneyland, and the Taco Bell on the front porch. Some of the stories, though, I'm reading in the chat is hilarious. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to lock into Padres baseball here in the next segment. Padres and the Diamondbacks will continue their series at 6:40, plus get you an update on Aztec's football as Aztec camp rolls on. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as our one sports station, 97 to the Fan. Padres baseball get underway at 6:40 tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Game 2 of the 3-game set. Yu Darvish getting the start against Ryan Nelson for the D-backs. Arizona won last night. Padres trying to even up the series tonight, as we will see, hopefully, what is a build-up start, or should I, momentum start for Yu Darvish after what was a good start in his last outing. Yu Darvish looked pretty good in his last outing, as a matter of fact. Statistically, everything else will look like he was humming as he went against a very good New York Mets lineup. And so with that, you would like to see a guy like Yu Darvish go out there and continue what he did in his last outing. Again, you give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt with some warm-up games. What he did in St. Louis was awful, but what he did against the New York Mets at home was a major bounce back. You're going against an Arizona Diamondbacks team, by the way, that has traded away Josh Naylor, has traded away Eugenio Suarez, has traded away Randall Grichuk, has traded away Merrill Kelly, Shelby Miller, Jordan Montgomery, all at the deadline. They're roughly a shell of themselves since the deadline. Unfortunately, last night, they took the loss, the Padres did, and try to bounce back tonight. Frank, what would you like to see out of Yu Darvish tonight?
I said 5 innings against the Mets, and that's what we got. I would say give me another 5, 4, 5 hits, run or 2. I think that's not too much to ask.
Last week, when we talked about this, we did our show at the Loft. Fun times, had by all, per usual. And I think we said like 5. You said 5 innings. I said 5 innings, less than 4 runs.
Yeah.
And Yu Darvish went out there and went, here it is, 7 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. I don't think he needs to go much better than that. I think if he goes 6 innings, give up 2 or less than 3 runs would be nice, but 3 or less over 6 innings, I think the Padres win tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And again, it's been a house of horrors for the Padres in Arizona, but they could use a bounce back out of a starting pitcher, especially with JP Sears not having it yesterday. Didn't have to tax your bullpen too much. Matsui and Wandy Peralta pitched yesterday, so that wasn't too bad. And we talked about it earlier, what you're going to do with JP Sears and Nestor Cortez. It sounds like, according to what is Kevin Acey's newsletter, that JP Sears and Nestor Cortez Jr. are basically in the next couple of starts battling to see who's the number 5 starter in the rotation. And that's for the rest of the season, because you only need 4 starters in the postseason. You need 5 starters to finish the season. You need 4 starters in the postseason. Then we're going to see the first sign of Nestor Cortez tomorrow. And we'll talk more about Nestor Cortez a little bit tomorrow. But as mentioned in the chat by Mike B, and we said earlier on the show, JP Sears has options, so he can get sent down to AAA El Paso. Nestor Cortez is out of them. So if you want to keep Nestor as part of the Padres organization, you got to keep him on the roster. But he's pitching tomorrow. More on this game. Again, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., those are the 3 guys near the top of the lineup. They did most of the damage last night. And on the season, Ketel Marte hitting 288, 21 home runs. Corbin Carroll hitting 247, 22 home runs. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is hitting 244, 12 home runs. They've all driven in at least 40 RBIs, 44 for Ketel Marte, 53 for Corbin Carroll. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. had 50 so far this season. And we'll see what we got in tonight's matchup between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. They need a win tonight. And it's not a must win, but losing 2 out of 3 to Arizona would definitely set you back, because, again, the Dodgers continue to struggle And you haven't taken advantage of it too much yet. You've stayed within 3 games, but it'd be nice to pick up another game on Los Angeles, who lost again last night to the St. Louis Cardinals. Reds got a win over Chicago. Did you see that game, by the way, Frank?
Which one?
The Reds-Cubs game. Did you see how that game ended?
Yes, that was when, I forget who the Cubs runner was.
Dansby Swanson.
Missed first base.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He touches first base, they win. He missed it, and the Cubs lost, which gave the Reds another game in the standings on the Padres. 3 games now, still within reason. So the Padres are chasing the Dodgers by 3, and they're holding off the Reds by 3. They could use a win tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're going against Ryan Nelson of Arizona, 6-3, 3.20 ERA. Pretty good numbers this year. Out of everybody that's left with the Arizona Diamondbacks, one of their better arms that is healthy, one of their better arms that's still on the team that you're going against. So it'd be nice to see the bats come alive a little bit. You saw a little bit of that last night on some spurts, but couldn't get the big hit. It seemed like they were, behind the 8 ball for most of the time. That's not the only game in action tonight, Frank, in San Diego that involves San Diego.
No, it is not.
San Diego FC, who has struggled in the Leagues Cup.
Eliminated from the Leagues Cup.
They went 0-2. They have one more game in the Leagues Cup. And again, they're focused on, obviously, the MLS. And they will play. They got Sporting Kansas City, don't they? Isn't that their next matchup they got?
Yes.
But they are playing tonight to finish up the Leagues Cup. The first game against Pachuca did not go very well. They had that one goal that was kind of a fluke, and then it kind of spiraled near the end. What was the takeaway from Friday night's match for San Diego FC losing 2-1?
They had a little bit more fight against Tigres than they did in their first match. Mazatlan is closer to them as far as ranking and seeding is concerned. San Diego FC has been ranked 36th in this tournament. Mazatlan is 33rd. Tigres was number 5. So they played a closer match against Tigres. But again, it comes back to the same thing we talked about after the last match, is that now with Milan Orlowski gone, they don't really have that strong attacking striker, that attack-minded striker that they need to be poking around there to score goals. So, Mazatlan is playing for something in this match. They need at least a draw in order to advance from the Mexico side of the Leagues Cup. They're sitting at 5 points right now. I believe they're 3rd in the Leagues Cup table. The top 4 from the MLS and the top 4 from Mexico advance. So they need a point tonight. So they are going to be playing, and they are going to be playing tough. San Diego can really be a spoiler here for Mazatlan, but it's just a glaring problem is rearing its head with San Diego FC right now.
So this happened a couple of hours ago. Philadelphia Union announced that they have acquired forward Milan Orlowski on a permanent transfer from wherever he was at.
Yeah, so they bought him.
So they bought
Orlowski.
What is your opinion on Philadelphia buying Orlowski and San Diego FC not trying to buy Orlowski?
I don't think it's that they weren't trying. I think whatever deal that San Diego, because there's different types. It's not like trading that we're so used to seeing. You have a couple of options. You can either buy the player, buy the player's contract. You can either loan a player out, or you can go with a loan with an option to buy. I don't know whether or not it was just a loan for Orlowski or if it was a loan with an option to buy. But whatever the agreement was, the price for what Orlowski has done over the last month or so, month and a half, it didn't meet what Orlowski wanted, and possibly Philadelphia Union gave him a better offer, and he wanted to go there.
To facilitate the move, the union first acquired the number 1 position in the MLS waiver order for the claiming period that commenced on July 15, 2025 from CF Montreal, enabling the club to claim Iloski off waivers. In exchange, Montreal received the 21st spot in the waiver order, a guaranteed $100,000 in 2025 general allocation money, and up to an additional $150,000 in conditional GAM, which is general allocation money. We talked about it before. Iloski got a great opportunity because of some injuries in front of him and made the most of it.
The Gold Cup was what did it.
Yes, the Gold Cup, in which some of the best players were
off with the
international teams, opened up a door for Iloski in that certain climate. How do we think Iloski is going to do in Philadelphia?
I think if he's given the chance to succeed, he's going to succeed. You can say, oh, well, the league now has some tape on him. Yes. But that was the Western Conference. The East and West, it's not like baseball. It's not like the NBA. It's not like hockey where the East and West play each other every year. They don't. You get 1, maybe 2 teams that cross over that play East versus West every year. So I could see him doing just fine over in Philadelphia if he's given the opportunity to do so. And the Union are not on San Diego FC's schedule for the rest of the year. They most likely won't be on their schedule next year. So however long-term this contract is, unless they're playing in the MLS Cup final, there's really no chance that this is going to hurt San Diego FC.
He's signed to the end of 2027 with an option for 2028.
Okay, so most likely there's a very small chance that the Philadelphia Union will be on San Diego FC's schedule next year. So I doubt that this will have any direct effect to San Diego FC unless they meet in the Cup final.
You going to game tonight?
I am not going to the game tonight, no.
All right. They got Mazatlan tonight at 7 o'clock. It will be on Apple TV. Plus, we'll keep you informed on that coming up tomorrow. We will also be talking a little Aztec football when we come back and more Padres baseball. We got an update on camp.
One thing I do want to promote here, actually, Smash the Numbers in the chat just asked the question, what is Chula Vista pitching a 50,000-seat stadium for? We are actually going to get answers to those questions tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning because we will have Jennifer Van Grove on to discuss that exact project. So listen in tomorrow morning.
Yes, we have her on tomorrow. Lucky Sutton, Aztecs running back, will join us on Thursday. And then, of course, Drake Hills, who will have more on San Diego FC, will join us in studio on Friday. It's a list of guests for the rest of the week here on the Braden Surprenant Show. When we come back, an update on Aztec football in terms of their camp and some final thoughts on Padres and Diamondbacks leading up to Gwen and Chris on San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show, setting as everyone's sports station, 97.3 The Fan. San Diego State Aztec football has gotten underway in terms of their fall camp. We'll have Lucky Sutton on coming up tomorrow. No, sorry, Thursday. I thought today was Wednesday. Tomorrow, so a couple of things, just a couple of housekeeping bits in terms of guests this week. We kind of briefly talked about it before we went to break. But tomorrow, as mentioned before by Frank Marchese, Ferris Khan in the chat wanted to ask about Chula Vista pitching a 50,000-seat stadium. Who's going to play there? Another MLS team, Liga MX, NFL team? Maybe. We'll get more information on that project with Jennifer Van Grove. She covers major projects in the San Diego area for the San Diego Union Tribune. All we do know is they're building a tennis complex with a water polo event center, and there's a couple other things that they want to put in with park space. And I know Tiger Woods, golf thing that he does that's kind of like mini golf, but like adult mini golf, wants to put something in there. And then they have floated the 50,000 seat up to 60,000 seat stadium down there in Chula Vista, across from the Gaylord, the new Gaylord Hotel that's down there. So what are the next moving parts on that? We will talk about with Jennifer Van Grove tomorrow. We will also get an update of major milestones that we need to discuss on the arena situation, because that's been going on for a while now on the negotiations and like where we're at. I've lost track of where they're at on the Midway district with, I think it was Midway Rising. I know they won the bid to negotiate the terms for the place and that, and we need details on that.
I'll tell you the last thing I heard, and this is from a while ago. This was back when...
These are from your sources?
Yes, from my sources.
Sources.
Back when the San Diego Seals were starting their season, that they were in negotiations with aviation rights groups over how tall the buildings can be for the birds.
Right. Didn't they? I thought we voted on that.
Yeah, no, that was, like I said, that was a while ago. So that was in October, like October, November. But that was the last thing I remember hearing about it.
Did that pass? I can't remember that passed or not. I thought it did.
I know it was about a building height limit for birds.
I know they had the building height limit. It was for that and for like people's view. Let's be honest. It's more about the view. But anyway, I thought we voted on that. And I couldn't remember if it passed or not because it was the last. The last election?
I believe it had to have been, because like I said, this was like end of October, early November, whenever the NLL starts.
So I knew that. And then the bid to start the negotiation was won by the group that had Kroenke involved with it. And then they had, I think it was the Midway Rising, and they were talking about the arena size and everything they want to put down there. And they have to negotiate other things like low-income housing units and all that other stuff. And that was the latest. And I think they had a year to do that. And I can't remember how long it's been since that last update. So Jennifer Van Grove can help us on that. So arena situation and Chula Vista's new project that they are ripping through, it sounds like. I mean, they're passing a lot of bars quickly, which is good for Chula Vista. So hopefully it attracts some teams and some other things down there. So that would be pretty cool. It sounds like they've really cleaned up that part of the bay. Anytime you have industrial areas, obviously there's a problem on there. So we'll get an update from Jennifer Van Grove tomorrow. In terms of the Aztecs, their running back, Lucky Sutton, local product at a Cathedral Catholic High School, will join us on Thursday, tentatively around noon. And then on Friday, we'll get your San Diego FC report and our Soccer 101 with Drake Hills. He'll just join us in studio.
We may also have a Boston Red Sox pitcher coming on Friday as well.
And a Boston Red Sox pitcher. And
a local from Mission Hills.
Start getting you ready for fantasy football with Eddie Brown, which I'll be working on, getting him on Thursdays. So, there you are. The guest for the week. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. All right, let's talk about Aztecs football. Okay, they've started camp. They've said a lot of the right things. They continue to say a lot of the right things. And some of these things, and we're going to talk about the quarterback situation in a second, because I think it's interesting, the quarterback situation for the Aztecs. I think it's going to be an improvement. It sounds like it already has been a little bit of an improvement, but you have a very big quarterback competition at San Diego State right now. That's something we are going to dive into in a second. But the other thing, too, is that they're saying all the right things, Aztecs football. And I talked with some former players of mine and some other players that play for San Diego State about the offseason they've had and how it's been different. It seems like there are more guys bought into the new system. Sean Lewis has to do less, busy work stuff in order to be like the stuff you have to do as a head coach. He's doing less of that and more focused on football. He got the help with the general manager position. And I think this is going to greatly improve Aztec football. I've already said all of these things. So there's a couple other things that they have added to this deal. And I like the quotes that are coming out of camp from Aztec football. Now, they had the Aztec Fast moniker last year, right? And Fast originally stood for, and it was laid out in Kirk Kenny's article, fun, accountable, smart, tough, coach speak for acronyms and stuff like that. But they have now changed some of the fast moniker to having fun change to focus. And when Sean Lewis quoted this in Kirk Kenny's piece at the start of camp, he said, when we say focus, the one word tells the whole story. It's the depth and the direction of your time, effort, and energy. So where is your time? Where is your effort? Where is your energy going? Where is it pouring to? How deep are you willing to go that we don't just know things at a surface level? And the focus since January has featured 3 phases: winter, strength and conditioning; spring, practice; and then summer conditioning. And last Wednesday, they began phase 4, which is a focus on football. So a lot of quotes in there, but there's some quotes that I like from a lot of the players, a lot of the young men that are playing for Aztecs football. And I think it's a positive step in the right direction. And I'm telling you, this is why this team's going to be a lot better than it was last year. And the thing is, it's not like they can really do any worse than they did last year. They won 3 games. But here's what their kicker, San Diego State kicker Gabe Placencia, who is the special teams preseason Mountain West Player of the Year winner. Quote, the bond of the team is a lot closer than last year. I feel like a lot more guys are bought in than last year. Guys are ready to go out there and win for the city of San Diego, not just win for themselves. Aztecs, of course, lost games, multiple games. And here's the other thing, too. Remember, and this usually happens. I've been reading up on Phil Steele's book that previews a lot of the games, or everybody's team in college football. And where a lot of the metrics for him work out are close losses. Teams that have a lot of close losses the year before usually end up flipping things around and having better seasons than the previous year, and having better seasons by a lot than the previous year. Aztecs had multiple close losses last year. They lost to Central Michigan, Washington State, who, by the way, was just coming off of being a Power 5 school, a school that you're going to have to compete with in the Pac-12, had a pretty good season last year, went to the Holiday Bowl, and New Mexico, who actually beat Washington State. They lost all 3 of those games by a combined 9 points. I mean, a combined 9 points. This is not making excuses, but it's not like they weren't in a lot of these games. I know they went 3-9, but all 3 of those games could have gone either way. And the game against Washington State is a frustrating loss that I know they're frustrated with. It's another factor into why I think they're going to be better. Junior edge rusher, San Diego State's junior edge rusher, Trey White from Eastlake High School. He was voted preseason Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, who was offered a decent amount of cash to go to an SEC school during the transfer portal and during the transfer window. Guy was leading the country in sacks. There's only one other player in college football that had more sacks last year than Trey White. And it's a player that was at James Madison that I think is now at Rutgers or something like that. Quote from Trey White: we've done more things outside of football to get to know each other. I feel like that focus and intent is there because they're trying to fight for your brother, and you care more for that brother now than when you don't know him, and that's been or when you don't know him, you don't know what he's been through. The intent and energy that we brought today, I felt like everyone was excited to be out there. Everybody was intentional what they were doing. They paid more attention to detail. There was less mistakes out there on day one, which is good. We've got a lot to work on still, but I'm excited to see what happens. This is very important stuff. This is very important stuff. I'm looking at Aztec football. They're going to be a lot better. I mentioned before, they're going to be a team that moves the ball quickly, but also a team that's sounds like they're going to run the ball a lot. And they got a 3-headed monster back there with Lucky Sutton, Byron Caldwell, and Kristen Washington. All three of those guys are local products that are going to help the rushing attack for San Diego State football. The other thing is their quarterback situation is very interesting. The quarterback situation for the Aztecs is very interesting. San Diego State, gearing up for this season, will have yet another starting quarterback, which will be their 8th in 8 years. And the decision's coming down to two transfers they got during the offseason. Jaden Denegal, a 6'5" pro-style quarterback from Michigan, and Burt Emanuel Jr., who's a dual-threat weapon from Central Michigan. Denegal apparently leads the race in camp after his spring that he had and early fall camp success with a lot of the reps he is getting. And he's been praised for his strong arm, his quick mental processing, and Sean Lewis's up-tempo offense. On the other side, Emmanuel continues to impress with his explosive running ability, dual threat guy, including a highlight from 2022 a couple seasons ago, where as a starting quarterback, he rushed for 293 yards and 3 touchdowns in one game. Both quarterbacks have shown leadership. They've both shown humility. And with Matt Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Aztecs, noting that Denegal brings NFL-level arm talent, while Emmanuel brings a rare level of athleticism San Diego State hasn't had in years. You're going to have some type of explosive ability out of your quarterback play in 2025. Either a, quote, NFL-level arm in Jaden Denegal or some great elusiveness and athleticism out of Burt Emanuel Jr. Head coach Sean Lewis, says the ultimate deciding factor, as quoted by Kirk Kenning's articles, will be the quarterback who, quote, injects confidence and swagger into the team. A decision is expected shortly after San Diego State scrimmage on August 14th next week. Even if Jaden Denegal is named the starter, it sounds like from the reports and rumblings out of camp for the Aztecs, Burt Emanuel Jr. will still play a significant role, possibly in some creative packages on the offensive side where you have 2 quarterbacks on the field at one time to take advantage of some of the assets that both players have. I'm not a big fan of having 2 quarterbacks play, but if you have a couple of sets where he comes in every once in a while, I don't think it's that. It can be very difficult to deal with as a defense. I like what I'm seeing at Aztec football. They're saying all the right things. Now they got to go out there and do it once camp is over. But it's a lot different now. And I know from talking to some of the players, they're bought into the quarterback situation way more now, like way more in 2025 than they were in 2024. And it has to do with a lot with Denegal and Emmanuel Jr. So we'll see how that plays out. But if you go to their scrimmage on August 14th, that's something to watch for Aztec football. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Cello as part of Gwynn and Chris, leading you into Padres baseball. We'll talk to you tomorrow.